bullshit. Stereotypical bullshit is on the rise. Oh, sit next to me, let's find the time. Oh, to break the walls, that surround us all. And put a middle finger in the sky. Stereotypical bullshit. Stereotypical bullshit.
Well, hello there, all my stereotypes, and welcome to the Stereotypical Bullshit Podcast. On this episode, we have an addict and a felon, and we're going to talk sports. But what we're not going to talk about is...
Stereotypical bullshit.
Well, hello there, all my stereotypes. Welcome to episode 7 of the Stereotypical Bullshit Podcast. I'm your host, Jason motherfucking Quigley, aka Super Quig. On this episode, we're going to talk to a felon, Adam, and an addict, former addict, Ashley. And what we're going to talk about is still up in the air. In fact, if you look over here to your right, the bottom right, there's a wheel. That wheel has topics, and I'm going to spin that wheel, get a random topic. You'll hear from me. If you don't know me, go to episode 2. I spill my guts about who I am, what I'm doing, and why I'm doing this. So, first you'll hear from me, and then we will call Adam, our felon, and then we will call Ashley, our former addict. And, well, first off, I do want to commend these people for putting themselves out there, for being a stereotype that is very stereotypical. You know, most felons are pieces of shit. Most addicts are pieces of shit. And it's kind of weird that I got both of them on the same pod, but I think it's going to make for an excellent conversation. What are we talking about? I'm not really for sure. But again, let's commend these people for putting themselves out there and talking about things that they might not want to talk about as far as through the eyes of these stereotypes. Because again, when you hear an addict or you hear a felon, I'm pretty sure that it's not all sunshine and rainbows when it comes to picturing these type of people. So again, I really want to commend these people for putting themselves out there and being themselves and giving me the opportunity to talk to them through these stereotypical lenses. Okay, so again, round of applause for these guys for just being awesome. Because I tell you what, these are the two most beautiful people you'll ever meet in your life. And I cannot wait to see what we're talking about. So, let's spin the wheel and see exactly what we're going to talk about today. So, spin the wheel of bullshit and let's find out what a felon, an addict, and myself is going to talk about. Is it really sports? It is sports! Yes! If you know me, you know sports is my thing. I'm an addict when it comes to sports. So you will hear from me first. We're going to call a felon, and then we're going to call an addict, and we're going to talk to them about sports. How is the conversation going to go? I don't fucking know. But what I do know is that I'm going to do my absolute best to break down stereotypical walls through the eyes of a stereotypical person about some random ass bullshit. In this case, we're going to talk about sports. Fuck yeah. I'm excited. I will see you guys on the flip side after I'm done ranting about sports. Fucking right. Deuces. And I go first. This is one of the topics that is near and dear to me. Like I said earlier, if you know me, you know how sports, how important sports is to me, really my whole family, and a lot of the communities that I'm in. Sports, for me, how I fell in love with sports started at a very, very young age. One of my earliest memories was sitting on my dad's lap watching KPLR, Channel 11, the St. Louis Blues, and my dad would turn down the volume and he would announce the game himself because he wanted to be a sports announcer as well. And so at a very, very young age, I was introduced to all the sports, but mainly blues hockey. They are my first love. If you know me, you know that I absolutely worship the St. Louis Blues. The Cardinals are a very close second. The Rams were a very close third as well. I'm a STL boy through and through. And I know it all comes from my dad. My dad was a very, very athletic person. And growing up, I saw him playing a lot of softball. I was the little red-headed, freckle-faced fruit that was running around at the ball fields every weekend. Every other day, Dad was playing softball. And so as I got a little older, sports just became like, I don't know, second nature to me. Luckily, I was athletic. I started off playing baseball, played baseball my entire life up until I got to high school. Mainly because I started playing hockey when I was a freshman in high school. I finally was able to afford the equipment and go out there and play the best sport in the world. And I played football for 6 years as well, Little League football for the Alton Renegades. I do feel as if there was a sport I completely excelled in, like mentally and physically. I think it was football. As I got a little older, I could tell my size may have been a problem, but my heart was never a problem. I don't care if you were 6'2", 230 pounds. My 145-pound ass is going to tackle your ass as hard as I fucking can. You might run me over, but you'll never run over my heart, ever. My courage, it was growing up in that Renegades football, Little League football. If you don't know it, Renegades football, I don't know if they still have it or not. My aunt was the treasurer, and my step-uncle, or my uncle-in-law, I don't know how you call it, my uncle, he was my uncle, JD, he coached our team. And I was one of maybe 5 white kids on a majority black team. And the respect that I wanted from these guys was unparalleled. I'll never forget doing a hamburger drill against a kid they'd called, I can't think of his name now, I just had it. Anyway, big kid. And hamburger drill is basically you lay on your back. One has a football, one doesn't. As soon as the coach says hike, you're about maybe 5-10 yards away from each other. He says hike, we roll over, we get up, and we run head-to-head to each other. And I was the fucking king at it because I had no fear at all. Hurt me, but at least you wouldn't take my respect. I would garnish it from you because garner it from you because I wanted that respect. I wanted to be better than everybody at everything. So football was huge for me. And when I got to high school, my freshman year, I played both hockey and football, and they overlapped. Our hockey team had 6 a.m. practices, 5:45 a.m. practices. So I would get up, go to hockey practice, I would go to school, and then after school I would have football practice. Unfortunately, or fortunately, I went to school at Bethalto at the time, and the coach there did not fucking like us playing hockey. He always felt as if that we were slacking, or we just wasn't putting in the effort like we were in hockey. And for the first time in my life, I was kind of humbled in a sense that I didn't play very, very much. But it also kind of pissed me the fuck off too, because the opportunities that I did get, I excelled quite a bit. So we had a freshman jamboree, our first real game as a freshman. So you had A team and B team. I was on the B team. I was a free safety, which was my position. I'm still fast. I'm the fastest 43-year-old you'll ever fucking find, especially around here. I was known for my speed. I was known for my speed back then too. And so I think we got on defense maybe 20 snaps, and I had 2 interceptions in 20 snaps. And I'll never forget one of the interceptions I had. I got the ball and I started running like this with the football. Straight up Deion Sanders running. And instead of commending me for reading the play and making a play, my coach at the time basically made fun of me the whole time we were watching film. Watch him catch the ball. Look at the way this kid's running. You're not Deion Sanders. You're Jason Quigley. I don't need you to run like that. And it just broke my heart. And throughout that season, I felt as if my athleticism wasn't being recognized to play the position that I knew that I was excelling in. It may have been because I was a hockey player. It may have been because the coach didn't like me. It may have been because I wasn't a part of that clique. I don't fucking know. But it destroyed me. I quit football my freshman year, and I didn't play my sophomore, junior, nor my senior year. In fact, our senior year, I think we had one of the most athletic teams at Wood River High for our football team. I think they won, or they got into the playoffs. I think we lost. But we had a lot of great football players on that team. Like, we were so fucking stacked. And I always look back and wish that I had stayed in it long enough to help them maybe get into the playoffs and maybe win a playoff game. I, however, we'll put this on my, accomplishments list. I coached JFL, Junior Football League, in here in East Alton, Wood River. I did that for 4 years. And I am the only head coach, along with my buddy Kevin Tharp. We were the first, I think, I'm pretty positive, I'm the first head coach in East Alton Wood River history to win a playoff game. I know it's not the level of, like, high school, but I'm very, very proud of that. Anyway, back to football. I quit it. Played hockey the 4 years that I had played, or 4 years that I went to high school. I played all 4 years of hockey. The first year was with Bethalto. We made it all the way to the finals, and we ended up losing. Some of the best hockey players I have ever seen in my life was on that hockey team. I'll never forget a guy named Jimmy Rogers. He was the best hockey player I can ever remember sitting next to. I watched this kid get hit checked, flip over on the boards, still grab the puck, skate down and score. And so I was very, very, lucky to play with these guys. Ben Tobin as our goalie, just the Duggars. Like, it was it was phenomenal to do that my freshman year. My freshman year was the first time I've ever played ice hockey, and I was tasked to mirror the other team's best player. Because again, I was fast as fuck, boy. Fast as fuck. Even on skates, I was fast as fuck. And so I would just mirror their best players. And after my freshman year, I went back to Wood River, and I played the final 3 years at Wood River. My sophomore year, we went to the finals in our division. I played with an amazing couple of really good hockey players. Phil Kaler, Neil McCatton. Man, we had Ringering as our goalie, Jake Ringering, the late Jake Ringering, as our goalie. And we made it all the way to the finals. Again, 2 years in a row, first 2 years I were playing hockey, we made it to the finals of our hockey league. Once Phil left, me and Snapper, Mr. Huck, I was a captain. And then my junior and senior year, I was actually an all-star. I feel like that's a big accomplishment for me to have never played hockey until my freshman year, and then 2 years in, I'm recognized as an all-star in a sport that is by far my favorite sport. And so, that was huge for me. And I'll never forget, they had the All-Star game, but they also had the skills competition. And me being fast as fuck, boy, they put me into the relay race, this conference versus that conference, 4 racers. And I'll never forget Brody Reed. He was from Jerseyville. Great fucking hockey player. We're sitting there determining who's going first, second, third, last. Brody's like, hey, man, I'm like really good at hockey. I'll go last. Jason, you go third. No matter what happens, your speed will at least get us back into it. Boy, I fucking took off like the goddamn Flash. Outskated everybody. I come around, hit Brody. All Brody had to fucking do was coast around the goddamn nets. This motherfucker falls in corner 4, turn 4, and busts his ass, and we lose the relay race. I should have went last. But those were the best times of my life, was playing ice hockey with those guys. And once I graduated, it was hard for me to find hockey. So what I did was, after high school, I kind of just started playing softball. I started playing softball when I was 16 with my dad, with the Headhunters. Dick Hardesty. Was the first guy to ever give me an opportunity to play softball. And I still have the jersey hanging up. That jersey's, almost 20 plus years old. Yeah, almost 20 years old. Really? No, actually, almost 25, almost 30 years old. Holy shit, I'm old. Almost 30 years old. I have the same jersey that I got whenever I started playing softball. And so softball kind of took over my life. I played softball all the way up until about 7 years ago is when I kind of really started slowing down. Maybe 5 years ago, 6, something like that. I pulled my Achilles. I ripped my Achilles off my ankle, and that really kind of slowed me down. I was an outfielder, fast as fuck, boy, and I put so much love into being a defensive player. I was never a good batter. Never a good batter. Mainly because, I overthink. With baseball, a baseball's coming in, I don't have time to fucking think. Reaction, boom, hit it. With softball, it's up in the air. I'm like, right field, left field, fuck! I missed it. I think way too much when it comes to batting. But in the outfield, I didn't have time to think. It was hit, and I run, I dive, and I catch it. I may not be some of that softball community's, first person they think of when they think of one of the best outfielders. But I think that I was like, I really do think that I was. I was fast. I could dive. I robbed home runs. I was a very, very good outfielder, but I felt like the lack of success that I had hitting a softball prevented me from maybe being on some of the better teams. And that's okay, because the only respect I ever wanted was from myself. Like, I got a lot from my teammates. I got a lot of high fives and great jobs and, all those things. But I do kind of wish that I would have excelled a little bit more in batting so that I could, maybe play in a more competitive leagues and be like a little better than I was. And, my late 20s, man, I played a lot of softball, like a lot. And all of that competition, all that competitiveness that I had in me comes from playing with my dad. The reason why my name is Super Quig, that was my dad's name, playing softball. They called him Super Quig because almost every game this guy's laying out like this, catching a softball. So they called my dad Super Quig, and I kind of just inherited the name. And so as I was growing up, early on, being outside, hot as fuck, dad listening to Jack Buck on the radio and Mike Shannon, on the radio, and like that competitiveness is in my genes. And thankfully it did go to my kids too, because all my kids are athletic as well. And as I got older, playing a lot of softball is really pretty much all I could do as far as finding that competitiveness, So I played a lot of softball. And then this roller hockey league came around probably about 8 years ago. It was called the Gong Show, and it was run by a guy, and I played in that league for about 4 years, I think, about 4 years. The last full year, I think, that we had that league, the Maroon team, and a couple of my captains, we ended up winning the championship. And the best thing about winning that championship was that I had two friends that played roller hockey with me when we were younger. We would play roller hockey up at the church there right off of Ferguson and Wood River. We would play out there in Hartford. We played so much out there in Hartford on the basketball courts that they ended up making us a roller hockey rink out there. And one day we showed up and there were nets out there. It's crazy too, because one of my Facebook memories was me standing out there. I took Michaela and Logan. Michaela was 5. Logan was barely walking at the time. And we go out there and we play roller hockey together. And so it was kind of cool to win a championship with my buddy Chris Baggett and my other buddy fucking Foils. And those are two guys that I started playing roller hockey with. And the reason why I loved hockey so much too was my dad would be in the basement. We didn't have a net, so we put like 2 2x4s with 1 2x4 going across up against the wall. And he would have his softball glove in one hand, hockey stick in the other, and 2 pillows taped around his legs in our basement. And I would skate on quads at the time and play hockey in my basement with my dad. And so it was kind of cool again to win a championship with my buddies that played this game with me. And so that league folded. We started a new league. I was a part of, I think, one of 15 people that was on the board to help start this roller hockey. I was kind of a late addition, but I was picked to be a captain for the team. And the Gateway Roller Hockey League was, I don't know, they gave me the opportunity to build my own team. in a sense that I was making up a franchise from scratch, which is what I used to do on Madden all the time. If you remember, Madden had to create a franchise, and they would have logos, and you can make your name, you can make all of these things. And I never actually played Madden. I would just make teams all the time. I thought that was the coolest fucking thing. So I was tasked to make a team. Gave the color of maroon, which is where I graduated. That was their colors. So I was able to design a logo, make a name, make jerseys. So I ended up making the maroon and gold Thundercats. And I was a huge Florida State fan growing up. Big Bobby Bowden guy. He's my, I don't know, he's my dream coach. I don't know, like he's to me, he's one of the best coaches of all time, especially in football. Back then, Florida State was a powerhouse because of Bobby Bowden. And so I mimicked Florida State Seminoles and did the whole, I don't know, Indian motif, I guess. Not trying to be stereotypical or anything. I just loved the whole Seminole look. So we have a cat with a headdress on, and I kind of went after that whole look of the Seminoles, maroon and gold and black, Thundercats, Tomahawks, all that type stuff. So that was amazing. So for the last 4.5 years, I've been running a team in the Gateway Roller Hockey League, and that fulfills a lot of my competitiveness. I'm by far not the greatest hockey player, but this league is amazing and gives everybody an opportunity. So if you, for real, if you ever want to get into roller hockey at all, message me and we'll get you into the league. We need players of all skill levels, which is what makes this league so good. We need like the best and not the best to come and play this league. So if you get a chance, go to the website, shoot me a message, we'll get you into the league. And that really fulfilled a lot of, my competitiveness. Now, we played in the alumni game. We had one football alumni game with East Alton, and we played against Bethalto. And one of the best times of my life. I was able to play corner. I got to get ran over by Joe Odom. If you don't know who Joe Odom is, he played football at Bethalto, went to Purdue, Division I football, played for 4 years, and then was drafted by the Bears, and he was Brian Urlacher's backup. Crazy as fuck. Now he's out here running over us in an alumni game. We had a fucking blast with that alumni game. So a couple years go by, we want to get into another alumni game with our rivals, Roxana Shells. And so at the very first practice, I had shown up a little late, got there for about half hour. I'll never forget, Tharp was like, dude, you should probably stretch. You just got here. Nah, I'll be fine. I never fucking stretched. I never hurt myself. So why would I have to stretch? So about 30 minutes in, I'm standing there running routes, getting ready. He says, hike. I lean back and I go to explode off my back foot, and it felt like a 38 shot me right into my ankle. Well, my Achilles was ripped right off of my ankle and ended up having to have surgery, full-blown Achilles tendon tear. Was out for about 4 months. And it was very hard to trust it to go out there and play softball. And so I didn't play a lot of softball after that. I kind of slowed down. I went from the outfield running a whole lot to the infield, and then I didn't think that I was maybe second base, but I was never really that great at infield. And then so as time went on, I wanted to start pitching because I didn't want to fucking run as much as I did like I did in the past. And so I learned to throw underhand a lot. And so my buddy Wally, he's K-9 unit. He's a really big face in cornhole. He actually was an announcer for ESPN, an American Cornhole League, and he's widely popular in the cornhole community. And so he and our friend Brian, Bubba, were doing a blind draws at our local Legion. And so he said, come down and play. I come down and play, and I fucking fell in love with cornhole. Like, the competitiveness, the strategies, the people. If it wasn't for the people, I probably wouldn't be playing. But the community, the cornhole community, is so welcoming that it is what is keeping me in this cornhole thing. Like, they see me getting better, and that praise makes me want to continue to get better. And so for the last 2 years, year and a half, I've really been playing a lot. So I played down here at the local Legion for about 4 or 5 months, and I was learning the game, getting better. And then, unfortunately, I had to have shoulder surgery. And I had to be out for about 4 months. I asked the doctor, can I start throwing? And they said, well, no, you can't throw. But I'm throwing underhand. And they're like, oh, yeah. So I have this rookie of the year mentality where, like he hurt his shoulder and he's throwing fucking 100 miles an hour. That's kind of how I felt throwing underhanded. I was training my arm to throw underhand over and over and over. And so, again, the community, the game itself, the strategy, I just fell in love with it. And so now I play a lot of cornhole, a lot of bags. And I am very, very proud at the progression that I've made. Now, am I going to be a fucking pro? I don't know. I do think that I probably need to practice a little more to ever get to that level. But man, this community that we're in with Wally and Smooth, Jay Smooth, like these guys are staples in this community. And being recognized by these guys as somebody who's, exceeding expectations really wants me to continue to do good. You know what I mean? Sorry, I gotta shut the door. And the competitiveness alone just made me fall in love with this game. And so I've been playing a lot of cornhole. I kind of put softball on the back burner, mainly because, man, my mentality is it doesn't matter like what it is. Like if I hit the ball, my mind immediately goes 110%. Even before I hit the fucking ball. I'll never forget last year, the umpire says, the guy in front of me hits a home run. And he goes, I bet you can't do that either. And I said, I don't want to. Like, I'd rather hit it over the fence so I don't have to fucking run. Sure as shit, I hit the fucking gap and I do an inside the Parker. And I don't want to do that anymore. Like, I don't want to, like, strain myself. I'm getting fucking old, man. I'm getting old. And I'll still take anybody's offer to race. You might beat me, but I'm still fast as fuck, boy, at 43 years old. So I'm very, very, again, very, very proud of my speed. And, I'm not going to get hurt walking 27 feet unless I have too many beers, with cornhole. So, like, now, like, my competitiveness, the thing that I want to get better at is cornhole. But the number one thing that you need to know about me in general is that I'm a competitive ass fucking person, man. Like, if you give me a ball, I get mad that I'm not good at it immediately. And that's because as an athlete, I expect to be good at anything with a ball or running or shooting or, sports in general. In my head, as an athlete, I should just be fucking good at it. And that's why cornhole is drawing me in, man, is because some days I'm fucking on. The other days, I'm like, why the fuck did I even come here? But that's sports. Sports points out the flaws and the inconsistencies and your work ethic. You can tell who's really good at bags by their work ethic, by how they continue to do good and get better over time. And again, at a very, very very early age, I was pulled into a competitive family, especially my dad. My dad was fucking good at everything, man. He beat all his friends in pool. He beat all his friends in ping pong. And so the day that I beat him in ping pong, the day that I beat him in pool were days that, like, you know, was so I don't know, it was amazing to be able to beat who I thought was one of the greatest athletes I know, which was my dad. And so being able to beat him in something only fueled my competitiveness. Now, unfortunately, as I got a little older, I cared more about, you know, like weed and girls and having fun than I did excelling at sports. And so when I had my son, Logan, I started just teaching him and coaching him in everything. I coached him, I think it was 8U pitching machine at Tri-City. And after that, I started to do, started to coach his swivel, which is, I don't know, a select baseball league. And so I coached for 6 years, and I was able to keep 6 kids on my team for 6 years. We lost a few for, you know, various reasons, but the best times of my life were coaching those boys, man. Like, I may not have been the greatest of coach, but our first 2 years we were 1-42. Our third year, we were 9-10. Our fourth year, so it was 5 years. Our fourth year, we were like 18-2 or 18-3. And then because we were so good, they moved us up into a higher league, and we weren't as good as those guys, so we didn't finish very, very, very well. I think we maybe won 5 games that year. But, you know, watching my son kind of have that same athletic ability but not have the work ethic was probably the hardest thing for me as a coach, because, like, my son was gifted. He had an arm. He could block. He was a catcher just like me. And he was just good, man. He was just good. And as he got a little older, I could tell that his talent was there, but his work ethic wasn't. And so what I try to instill in my boys is that your talent is only going to get you so fucking far. You got to start working on yourself. You got to start working with yourself. If you want to get up at 5 a.m. and have me throw to you, I will. Let's do that. Let's stay after practice for a little longer. Let's help yourself. And unfortunately, that didn't happen. And if I was to say anything to anybody who has a kid who excels in a sport, pound into their head that their talent is only going to get them so far. Their work ethic will become more than what their talent will ever give them. Ask any coach. If you have a kid who's not as good at something, but his work ethic is second to none, they're choosing that kid over a kid who's just naturally talented, who's late to every practice, who doesn't stay over late, who doesn't try to help himself. And so if you have a kid who excels in a sport, dude, push that as hard as you can, please. Like, coming from a coach and a dad, like, that, I'm the same way. I have one of the best athletes I know is Kevin Tharp. Now, Kevin is only like 5'5", 5'6". Had he been 6'2", the fucking kid would have been Division 2, Division 1 at football or baseball, basketball. The kid is just a natural fucking athlete. But he'll admit to you too that he just didn't work as hard as he should to excel in those sports. And I was the same way. And so I replaced that with men's slow pitch softball, with roller hockey, with cornhole. I regret not having that work ethic because I do feel as if I could have been an amazing athlete outside of high school into a college or a junior college or a community college, whatever it may have been. I felt like I was a good enough athlete to do that. But, you know, sports is everything to me. Like it is legitimately what runs a lot of my life, a lot of my hobbies. If you look behind me, I got hockey jerseys up on the wall. I got my little Blues shrine over here. I got 50 hats of various teams, and you know, like my knowledge of sports, I wouldn't say it's unparalleled, but it is. I do think I'm quite intelligent when it comes to sports, when it comes to coaching, when it comes to all these things. You know, I coached 3 years in football with the JFL, and we were always successful. And a lot of that has to do with those kids recognize that coach isn't just some fat, overweight dude who's telling people to go places. You know, I'm lining up behind, burn me, kid, burn me. You know what I mean? And so they get that, they garner that respect from me mainly because they know that I'm an athlete as well. And so, you know, coaching was one of the best years of my life. And the competitiveness has helped me get to where I'm at in life. You know, again, just, I want to win at everything. I want to be successful at everything. And I get upset when I'm not, mainly because I think most athletes are like that. They feel like they should just be good at everything that they touch. But, man, I feel like there's so much more that I can touch base with. I'm already like almost 40 minutes into this rant. But I'm like, I've got 3 Blues tattoos. The first tattoo I ever got, I was 18 years old, and I went across the river to Iron Age, and I got a tattoo on my ankle of a Blue Note. Why? Because my dad got a fucking tattoo of a Blue Note on his chest when I was younger. You know, like, I have videos of me crying when the Blues won the Stanley Cup in 19. Like, I can finally, literally, I can die a happy fucking man because my Blues won one. We won one. We were world champions one time. And so, like, I always joke that, you know, I love my kids, I love life, but nothing is as important as Blues hockey. That is my first love. It's every, you know, I think hockey is an underrated sport. If I could take anybody to any sporting event who doesn't know what sports is, there is nothing more enticing and entertaining and as crazy as a Game 7 Stanley Cup playoff game. In overtime, every shot, every block, everything means something. And I don't think there's a sport that can do that. Now, I love baseball. I love the intricacies of baseball. I love it all. I love the mental game of baseball. Baseball is probably the most mental game. I fucking love football. Like, I would rather watch football than I would baseball. Mainly because football has so much strategy in it. It's 11 guys against 11 guys, and you're playing chess. And you, like, as a coach, as somebody who can see a cover 2, who can see the C gap, you know, all these things, who sees the play before it develops, is the reason why I fucking love football. But hockey to me will always be like that number one sport. Hardest thing to do in sports is to try to hit a baseball at any level. Like, to me, that's the hardest thing to do, because even the best in the world fails 7 out of 10 times and is still considered the best in the world. Football, each position is completely different. So you could be 310 10-pound lineman or a 230-pound running back that runs a 4.3 40, or a wide receiver who catches the ball or whatnot. But in hockey, like, you have to do all those things at once. You have to skate, shoot, pass. The patience of hockey is second to none. That's why it's called the fastest sport in the world. Like, as soon as you get that puck, especially in the NHL, like, you very rarely see a person hold on to the puck more than a second and a half, because it is that fast. So that patience, that athleticism is so hard for me to think why other people don't think that hockey is the greatest sport on earth. Man, I gotta shut up. I've been talking almost 45 minutes now. But I told you, this was probably one of my favorite topics that I had on the wheel. And so, man, like, I fucking love sports. I love talking sports. I love watching sports. I love, breaking down plays and watching, the intricacy. I'm not going to say that word. Watching the little things in sports happen. And those are the most joyful things. Watching my kids play sports and be good at sports, I kind of give myself a little credit also to my dad that, it runs in our genes. We're athletic. Thankfully, my kids are athletic too. My oldest played basketball at a high level. Logan played baseball at a high level. Now, Addie, unfortunately, Mia doesn't play a lot of sports, but Addie is at 12 years old. She's an incredible basketball player, an unbelievable volleyball player, and I absolutely love seeing that competitiveness in them. And as I get older, like, I want to see more of my kids succeed in sports, and I will continue to shoot my bags, shoot my darts, play a little bit of softball, and put my heart and soul into my Thundercat GRHL team. And if you ever want to talk sports, or you ever want to race me or play me in anything, you might beat the shit out of me in whatever sport you choose. But I guarantee you, my ass will be competitive no matter what we're doing. Paper, rock, scissors, let's fucking go. Let's go. I don't care. I want to win at everything. All right, so I got to go. So that's my rant on sports. I fucking love sports. I mean, I love sports. I got a Chief Wahoo hat on. If you don't know who that is, ask the Cleveland Guardians who that is. But dude, it's a love for me. I love everything about sports. And so I'm going to let it go. I'm going to try to stop talking. I feel like I can go on for days talking about I'll be thinking about what I could have said and what I should have said in this topic, but we'll get to that probably another day or something. But in the meantime, I got to get a hold of Adam, get him online. We're going to talk to Adam. He's my felon, and we're going to talk about sports. How does sports and a felon, how's that conversation go? I don't know. Well, we're sure the fuck going to try. How does an addict in sports, what kind of conversation is that? I don't know, but we're going to try, and I'm going to do my best to get a great conversation out of these guys. And so, in the meantime, check out my sponsors, man. Listen to them, call them. Again, they support me, so support them. In the meantime, listen to my sponsors. After the sponsors, we'll talk to Adam, our felon. And so, I will see you guys on the flip side. Deuces! First off, I want to thank my supporters who sponsor this podcast. I suggest you go out and support my sponsors. Sponsor number one, HC Remodeling. If you need a kitchen, a bathroom, or anything in your home remodeled, fixed up, give HC Remodeling a call. Call Wiley at 618-410-4245. That's 618-410-4245. Rhino Enterprises. If you need something hauled from point A to point B, whether it's from here to New York or from New York to LA, give Ryan a call at 618-581-9432. That's 581-9432. Skin by Michaela, my daughter. She's an esthetician. She will make your ugly face pretty again. I'll promise you. Give Kayla a call at 618 610 9718. That's 610 9718. Top tier pressure washing. Call Aaron for all your pressure washing needs. He will shoot high pressure water at anything to make it beautiful again. Call Aaron at 618 610 6578. That's 610 6578. Sheets Garage. If you have an automotive problem, give Josh a call. He'll fix anything and everything. He'd rather work on Chevys, but he'll fix anything. Give Josh a call at 618 917 4786. That's 917 4786. K9 Unit. For all your entertainment needs, go to K9 Unit Productions on YouTube.com. That's K9 Unit Productions on YouTube.com. He has all your entertainment needs, whether it's a podcast talking about movies, TVs, gambling, sports, cornhole. He has it all. Go see Wally. Go subscribe to his channel. It's K9 Unit Productions on YouTube. Next is Cornhole with Smooth. He is bringing the community together one bag at a time through the game of cornhole. For all your cornhole content, go to Cornhole with Smooth on YouTube.com. Cornhole with Smooth on YouTube.com. GRHL, the Gateway Roller Hockey League. I am a board member in the GRHL, and we are looking for more hockey players. We play roller hockey in Edwardsville. We need players from all skill levels. If you just want to play organized hockey again, go to gatewayrollerhockey.com, go to waivers, sign up, come down and play some hockey. We are also looking for sponsors. So if you're wanting to sponsor the GRHL, get in contact with me in the description below. Shoot me an email. Last but not least, I am sponsored by Dubby Energy Drink. It is a powered, no jitter energy drink. Shake it up, get going. They have tons of flavors, cool company, and with everything, including Dubby, let them know Super Quick sent you, and they will do what they can to get you a small discount. Again, use the code SUPERQUICK through Dubby or any other sponsors. Let them know that I sent you. Again, support these sponsors because they support me. Thank you very much. Deuces. All right. Welcome back. I hope you listen to my sponsors. Please support them and do what you can to make the best out of the sponsors that support me. So please do so. Now we're back from the flip side. I'm talking to Adam. He's going to be our felon. So everybody say hi to Adam. Hi, Adam. How are you doing tonight, man?
I'm good, Mr. Quiggs. What's up with you?
Not much. First of all, I do want to commend you for, putting yourself out there and stereotyping yourself as what we would consider a felon. So, with that said, through the eyes of a felon, we are going to talk about probably my favorite topic that I had put on the wheel of topics, and that is sports.
Okay.
Okay. So, I guess in order for us to get an idea as to a certain, how long were you locked up for, Adam?
2.5 years.
Okay, so through the eyes of a felon, how does sports, or how did sports, or how will sports impact you as a felon?
I don't know how much it really impacts you as a felon. I mean, I think sports is going to impact you in life altogether. But I don't know. That's a tough question. I mean, as far as felon, that's all they do is gamble on sports. So
Right.
if you know sports, you might be good.
Right.
You might not. But yeah.
Yeah, and that's, that's kind of the hardest thing about this podcast is kind of
Hmm.
connecting, certain topics to certain stereotypes. Because if we were to talk about, I don't know, like say AI or I don't know, fishing, you know what I mean? How does that affect, or how do I get the viewpoint of
Hmm.
of a felon? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So I
yeah.
guess the best way to kind of go around it, while you were locked up, what type of sporting events were you able to capture throughout your time?
Oh, you can watch everything. You got your own TV. You can watch, I would say sports is if you know sports is a good way to break the ice with people you don't know. So you can always talk about sports. People always talk about the basketball game, baseball game, and then and the sport's a good icebreaker all around. So
I agree.
and then and then also you can play sports in there. They got softball fields and volleyball fields and all soccer fields, handball. Everything.
Did being able to have that sporting outlet kind of help with, making the time pass?
Yeah, I guess I every time I try to play sport, I end up pulling a muscle or something. So I mostly just play. I like to play cards. That was it. Cards, go work out, and play cards.
Now,
That
did
was
you
it.
see a lot of gambling on sports while you were there?
Oh yeah, that's one of the biggest things in there. People mix parlay ticket. They call home and get the Vegas picks. And then they might alter them a little bit, but they make parlays and all that. They even pay people to go around and sell their parlays. It's huge.
Now, did you see anybody else that like was like super big sports fanatics in there?
Oh yeah, ton of them. I mean, there's guys like cause since they gamble on it, the guys that make the tickets, they watch everything, find out all the stats, and then like I said, they sell tickets, and they're hoping you lose so you keep getting money, but every once in a while somebody wins.
I'd hate to say that I was in county a couple times, and
Yeah.
one of the times that I was in there, it was the national championship. I think it was Auburn, and it was Cam. Not it was yeah, it was Cam Newton when he played for Auburn, right? I think it was.
Yeah.
And I remember kind of that same thing, like it was donuts on donuts on donuts
Yeah. Yeah.
that they were betting.
Yeah.
Uh, did you? a- I mean, are you an avid sports fan in general?
Yeah. I don't pay as much attention to as I used to. But I do try to keep up with it. I mean, I think sports is just great for anybody, but like I like hockey, but like I like going to hockey games because I can't keep up with the puck. I'm not gonna lie. I
Right.
don't have time. I'm just cheering. I see the lights go up. I cheer. I don't know what happened, but it's like I got ADD or something, so I can't keep up with it. I do love baseball, um, but as I get older, it's like going to baseball games, all that's fun, but it's almost better just watching on TV. I'm too many people sometimes for me anymore. I
Right.
kind of like that.
Right. Yeah. 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 I'm
So
I'm kind of the
yeah,
same way. I probably have to smoke a little bit to calm my
yeah,
anxieties to get into big crowds and stuff. But
yeah. I can't. Yeah, I be paranoid as crap. Then I can't. I don't know if I'm talking to somebody funny or if it's stuff's too potent. But yeah, I feel you.
now, was there any major sports I don't know, major sports events that you were able to watch while you were in that you can
Yeah, like I
remember?
said, I mean, you pretty much can watch everything because you got main TV in the day room, and then you have your own TVs in your cell, so you can pretty much watch whatever you want. And like people are always gambling on it, so which the parlays are funny because it goes more you pick, more you win. But it's like you win $50, but you're winning all freaking Wham Whams and Zuzus and crap. You're just getting a
Right.
bunch of ramen noodles and stuff. So it's
Right,
actually
right,
kind of funny.
right. The stuff to make
Yeah.
what was it, the Jolly Rancher
Oh yeah. Big suckers.
yeah.
Yeah, they make laughy. They make laughy taffy. They're crazy,
I
but
could
it
see
is
those.
funny.
Yeah, I could see those bets going. Hey man, you lose this bet, it'll be some candy.
Yeah, yeah. Well, the parlays in there is really like saying like, you buy a ticket $1, 3 picks you win so much, 4 picks you win so much, 5 picks you win so much. But it's like you might pay in a couple noodles, and then if you do win, you might get a bunch of noodles and some beans or a chicken pack, or some crazy
Yeah.
stuff.
Now,
But it is funny.
do you feel as if, like, I don't know, that maybe like you were saying that sports in general is kind of more of a life learning type?
Yeah, it's
Ye-
definitely a lifeline type. I mean, it teaches, especially. I always say, some people, and I was like when I was a kid, I was kind of a sore loser, and then you realize, like as long as you go out there and you play like good or give it your best shot. If you do lose, it's not a big deal. Somebody beats you that day, but it's like you almost got to learn to lose before you can win. And that's kind of like everything in life. Like
Right.
you got to take your losses as a lesson. You can't just you got to
Right.
learn from it.
Now,
So
as growing up, did you play any sports at all?
yeah, so I played baseball pretty much my whole life. I played football up until high school, and that was really big. And then I mean, I skateboarded my whole life too, but that I guess I think it's kind of a sport, but not like a
Oh,
sports like
no,
baseball
no.
and stuff. But it is
I,
a sport.
dude, anybody who says that skateboarding is not a sport, I will punch him in the throat.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
mean, the shit that those guys can do on a fucking
it's
skateboard, man.
ridiculous.
Oh my God. How is that, dude? It
And
would be easier for me to hit a baseball, a major league baseball, than it would be for me to kick flip to a nollie. Like
yeah,
the people that can do that shit with their feet with
yeah,
on a moving board. To me, it's a fucking sport.
yeah, and it's nuts. You think about football players that run and tag each other in pads. I used to jump down 11 stairs and eat crap, whole arm be bloody, and get up and do it again. But
Yeah.
like it made no. Now I'm like, I think about it, it hurts. And then I used to think like I was halfway good, and then I see the stuff that they're doing now, and it's just crazy. It's like, oh my god.
Now, do you feel as if like playing sports kind of gave you those early lessons in life?
Yeah, I feel like skateboarding was the big. So I always tell people like when if their kids are starting to skateboard or something, I feel like skateboarding teach you the biggest lessons in life that you don't even realize. But like I said, you try. There'll be times you try a trick for days and days, all day long, and you fall 20, 30 times. And it's like, so it teaches you if you fall, get back up and try again. It teaches
Absolutely.
you don't ever give up on stuff. It teaches you, and when you did finally land a trick, I mean, it might take you days. You finally land this trick, it's the best feeling in the world. Like,
If
and
any
you might be scared to try it again after that. I don't
Right,
know, but it's
right.
the best feeling in the world.
Dude, if anybody's ever seen anybody land a fucking trick that they fell down
Oh
on
man,
5 or 6 times, and you
yeah.
see, I think they're the recent one. I can't remember dude's name, but he jumped like it was a stairwell gap, and he
Hmm.
jumped the stairwell, and it was like everybody that was like even he tried it before, nobody has done it
Yeah.
since, like whatever, and then everybody
Oh,
is
the El Toro guy,
ecstatic. Yes, the El Toro guy.
Chris
That's exactly.
Johnson. Chris
That's
Johnson,
I knew it was
360
Chris
flipped it.
something. Yes,
Yeah,
he
it's
kicked.
nuts.
Yeah, he fucking
He
kicked.
360 flipped it. That
Yes,
thing is huge.
yes.
That
It's
thing
like
is huge. I think he's the only one to ever land a flip trick down there.
I
Other
think
people
he
have
is.
tried and they've ate shit and they didn't try again. I think one person 180. That thing is like a 21 stair death gap.
Yeah, yeah. And then, dude,
I mean,
when he landed it, I'll never
man,
forget. He goes, "I fucking kick flipped El
yeah.
Toro."
He couldn't. I don't even think he could believe it. He got sued for that.
Did he really?
After they started showing that video where he got a letter in the mail from, he got sued for. I don't know whatever if he's still fighting or whatever. But is that not hilarious?
Oh, dude, I did not know
Funny.
that. I did not know that.
Yes.
But
Yep.
that was one of the recent
So
ones that I remember seeing. But like
yeah.
that is a major lesson because
Yeah.
like in baseball, you swing and miss and you fail. Nothing. The
Yeah.
only thing that's hurt is your pride.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But if you fall off of a 21 stair kick flip, chances are it's going to physically hurt.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I fell before and I thought I broke my ankle, but it ended up just being like I dislocated my baby toe. I didn't know
Oh,
until like years later I broke every toe. But like, so you let it heal and then you go try the trick again in a couple months and now you don't know if it's like it's crazy. And
that's
then I
what.
think the same thing with sports is failing, and then when you do win, it's like that feeling is amazing.
Right.
It's great.
Do you have any regrets of not letting those lessons help you get out of that, I don't know, that lifestyle which in turn made you a stereotypical, quote unquote felon?
Yeah, I mean, the only regrets that I ever have in general is, I know that I missed up some good opportunities. I know the person I am that, I could, I feel like I could have did, some amazing things. I should have been a lot farther than I am, but really, I don't regret it too much because it really kind of made me who I am today. So I try not to regret anything too much. And I had kids at a young age, and that's why I got regrets because I got in trouble and had to be away from them, and then they had to learn about it. But then that works too because I try to teach them don't make the mistakes I made.
Right.
And I say it's not. I'm honest with them about it. And I joke around about it, but I let them know it is a struggle. Like it is not everybody. not everybody makes it through the same way, or a lot of people that return back because they don't know what to do, and it's so. That's why I'm not ashamed of it. It's like it did really make me who I am.
Well, I had
So
recently met you probably within the last year.
yeah,
And
yeah,
dude, you're a fucking fantastic dude. And I don't think that I would be saying that, I guess, if you hadn't gone through all the shit that you've gone
yeah,
through. Kind of like a relationship. Like
yeah,
if you fall in love with me, like what a girl
yeah,
say falls in love with me, and then she's
yeah.
upset that I have all these hobbies. We shoot cornhole, doing podcasts. Well,
Hmm.
how does that impact your you love me, and this is who I am now. Like this is what
Yeah,
made me me. And I think,
yeah,
again, you being able to like talk about it it's with no regrets. You know what I mean? Because again,
yeah. And I
it's
try to,
made you who you are today.
yeah, and that's why I try to, like, you try to just be a good person. I try to be the same person no matter what. So I mean, really, I bring it. Like, what you see is what you get. Even my son asked me, so he's like, "What's wrong with you?" I'm like, "I don't know. I just try to, oh, the world's got enough bad stuff in it. So a lot
Yeah.
of times I'll joke. It's even when if I'm going through, I mean, I might be going through it sometimes, and I don't show it. I still joke around, laugh, and all this. But then when I'm home by myself, I gotta figure stuff out. But I know that I'm gonna figure it out because,
Right.
I know what I've been through and what I can get through. And I just, when you get to a point, you're just like nothing else can phase you. So it's like you just roll with it and keep going. What are you gonna do?
Yeah,
Just live life
exactly.
and just be happy.
Exactly. You can't change the past. The only thing you can do is change the
No.
perception of your future,
Yeah.
And so
Right.
like I
Right.
think that's why we gravitate towards each other. If the
Yeah.
people who don't know, me and Adam play a lot of bags together. And
Hmm.
um like
We suck too. By the
we
way, we
do,
suck.
we
But
do. We at least we try our fucking best, right?
we're better. We're better. We're better at darts. But no, I'm just kidding.
We kind of are. If we're not better at darts,
Oh
we're
man,
having more fun at darts. That's for sure.
I definitely was not better. They were mad, but that's all right.
That was such a good time. But like, do you have any? Do you use any like lessons that that you have brought from you know being in the pen, and then is there any lessons that you bring to yourself when you are shooting, like or playing softball
I
or
get in my
shooting a
head a lot.
basketball?
I get in my head a lot, so I don't know. I just know I try to treat. What I learned is even if you don't like somebody or whatever, I try to treat everybody with respect. Respect's kind of a huge thing. We don't have to get
Absolutely.
along. We don't have to like each other, but you show me respect, I'll show you respect. Because it's you never know what somebody's capable of. So if you go around being arrogant, or you go around disrespecting somebody or doing like, there's really no need for it. And
Yeah.
so definitely in bags. Like, okay, if you're better than me at bags, so fucking what? Who cares?
Right.
Who
Right.
cares? And I mean, I'm gonna get there. I'm getting there. I'm working on it. I hate losing, but at the same time, who cares?
Right.
And I
Right.
love talking. The whole game is about talking crap, having a good time. I
I'm.
think sometimes you kind of forget to have a good time.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. Yeah.
I
I
forget
think
to
a
have a
lot.
good
I
time. And
I do
so I
too.
want to go back to that.
I do too.
Yeah.
I
So
get in my head a
yeah,
lot too, and I think a lot of it,
yeah,
a lot of it has to do with the idea of just I don't know, like it's very hard for
disappointing yourself.
yes, yes. It's very
Yeah,
hard for me to talk shit unless, I'm playing you or Dylan or,
yeah, yeah,
somebody
yeah,
who's
yeah,
close to me because
yeah,
like I'm so humbled by that fucking game. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Like
No, I
I
am. Yeah,
like I if I yell because I think I made the push shot and that push doesn't go in,
yeah,
like I'm immediately embarrassed. Like fuck. Like
yeah.
damn it, I
I talk
didn't.
shit to people that. I talk shit to everybody that beats me every time, so it don't matter because I'm on more
Right.
about two. That's all I got. I'm like, it's not gonna stop me. Fuck that. I'm still gonna talk my shit. And yeah, I got humbled again Saturday. I was ready to throw good, and I threw a 5 something. Got beat 21-0. Me and Elijah. It was horrible. But I'm gonna wait a week. I'm gonna talk shit again, and I'm gonna try again next month.
Well, it's kind of funny
All
that
right.
you're saying like try to treat everybody respect, and that's one
Yeah.
thing. Like in my head, like if you are in the pin, that's like the one thing. Like you
Oh
garner
yeah.
respect. If
Big
you
on
if
respect.
you if you turn around
Yeah.
and you're an ass to one person, chances are your face
Yeah.
isn't gonna be as pretty as it was when you first came in. You know.
Yeah. And in there, like so I went to medium. If you got under 15 years, you go to medium. But a lot of them guys came from actually they've been locked up. 20 years already. And so you think them guys be the rough, like they're in here for a long time. They're usually the most humble ones because they don't want to go back to that max joint where they only get out to sell an hour if they're not on lockdown. They like it at
Right.
mediums. You got most of the day. You can play. You got free movement. Like so they're pretty humble too. And like that's where I kind of my first cellie. He had 45 years, I think, and he was gonna get out 4 years after me. So he's been locked up like 20 something years, 30 years or something. He got some time back, or whatever. But he's the one kind of taught me that because he was going home like 2 years after me, and he's like, somebody has to really disrespect. Now I ain't gonna let people disrespect me, but I try to blow stuff off. I don't get into over little stuff, so I don't let little stuff phase me too much. Sometimes I might forget and might snap out a little bit, but most of the time I'm pretty humble. I try to be.
Yeah, I mean, playing with you for the last few months, the last 6 months or so, it's probably been about a year since I met you.
Yeah.
But like it's kind of this is kind of what the podcast is kind of about, in a sense that we want to treat everybody with respect. Like,
Yeah.
if you treat me well, I'll treat you better. Like, one of the things is
Yeah.
I try to remember everybody's name that's at backs, because
Yeah, that's hard to do sometimes.
it really is when you're playing with 120 fucking people or something like that.
Yeah.
There's a lot there. Now, I know you got a son who plays baseball. Do you ever try to give him like any type of advice that specifically came from being locked up?
No, not really. I mean, not really. Just the respect thing. I mean, I try to be big on respect and just
Yeah.
don't let another big thing is like you were talking about fighting earlier. A lot of people get in fights, they'll go in a cell and try to fight, and so the COs don't see it. But a lot of that is from a lot of people don't want to fight. And a lot of people, somebody encourages, like these guys might be bored and this guy might be newer, young kid, and they talk him into, like try to pump him up to go fight somebody because they want to see what happens and stuff. It's like it's really
Right.
about don't get in the middle of problems that ain't yours. Stand up for people. I always teach a lot. If do the right thing though, if you see something wrong, don't. But otherwise, don't put yourself into problems that ain't yours.
Right.
And like, I mean, and like, in high school and stuff, I would do that a lot. Friends would get into it, so now I'm into it with everybody. But like, and I do believe sticking up for your friends and stuff. But sometimes, some people are the problem. They're getting themselves into this stuff, and you get involved in it. And it's worse for you than it ends up being way worse for you than it is them too.
Right.
Especially if you're a person that is loyal and you're gonna go, all the way for one of your homies or something. So I just teach Elijah, don't let people peer pressure you and stuff. He just started freshman year of high school. He's a pretty good kid. But I don't think he's really messed up too bad yet, but I kind of expect him when he does. Like I know the one time he got this older girl. He was talking Snapchat and his friends. They went out and he got real drunk off like vodka or something, and he thought he had like alcohol poison the next day, and so he got in trouble for that. And this was probably 8 months ago, so he got in trouble. I don't think he's done it since because he was most of the time he comes home after he goes somewhere anyways, but when he does stay out, he seems like I think he kind of learned a little lesson, but like there's gonna be more of that stuff coming. He admitted that he's trying to look cool for the girl and whatever. And like I just know there's gonna be more of that coming, and I'm like it's not always like I was pretty popular in high school, but I was an idiot. I did everything like I'm like whatever. I tell him it's not always cool to do the wrong thing. Like I expect you to mess up in life, and I'll be here for you when you do fall, and I got you. But like I'm not saying I'm not gonna be mad about it or nothing. That's like I might be mad, but at the end of the day we're gonna figure it out because I had a mom that she never gave up on me no matter what, and I was doing pretty bad there for a while. So she's kind of was my rock, and so I make sure that I got a daughter too that's 17. So both of them I'm kind of waiting for them to fail or mess up, and then I'll be there to catch them.
Yeah.
And teach them the right way.
I think that's just that's just kind of I think that's just what a good parent can and would do.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
I have my own morals and stuff, and I have my own like ways of teaching my kids about respect and stuff like that. My son, like we were talking, both our kids play baseball, and the one thing that my son unfortunately just can't grasp is just that respect thing. He feels as if he's angry, then everybody else is going to be pissed off too, unfortunately, like that's not how you go about just being a good person. Your anger shouldn't affect other people in
Yeah.
in that way. You know,
Yeah.
like I've had a daughter that's ran away from home and then
Hmm.
come home, hate me, and then now being 21, undoubtedly respects how I parented her. You know,
Yeah.
now because if I wouldn't have parented her that way, she wouldn't have been
Yeah.
the amazing person that she is. Do you feel
Yeah.
as if like spending time there in the pen what has made you a better dad?
Yeah, I think in general it kind of maybe first of all, so really it's my life.
Right.
If I wouldn't went to prison, I'd guarantee I wouldn't be here. Like, I was messing up pretty bad. 2017 was a rough year, and luckily I went. And then, so I feel like it. How do I put it? So when I was in county at first, I actually got out, and I was in there like 21 days, and I thought I was gonna quit doing the stuff I was doing. I went right back to it, and got another charge, went back to jail, and that's when I knew kind of like I'm going to prison. So like when I got time to go away, and you got a lot of time to think, at night and you're by yourself and all this stuff. So
Yeah.
it really gave me enough time to think, get my health. I start working out and start running. Start just you get a routine going, and like time flew by. It was crazy how fast it went. And then before you know it, you're getting out, and then you got to figure everything out again.
Yeah.
And so, but when I got out, I was ready. I was like, okay, well, I know I'm not doing stuff, and that means I ain't gonna talk a lot. And it's funny because in there
Right.
you'll call people that you're cool with, and even your money from the phone. It's like a penny a minute when you get to prison. They lowered it so much, but you call, they don't answer and stuff, and then you get out, everybody's trying to be your homie again and stuff. They're not doing stuff. And it's like I'm like I gotta stay away from you guys. Not like I don't want to see you eat or not. I don't want to see you eat at my table. Like
Right.
cool with you, but from a distance. And then people, some people got mad about that. Like, Adam thinks he's better than us. No, I think I'm better than the person I was before.
Yes.
That's it. And it's nothing against you. I just know what I gotta do. So I didn't like it. Cornhole really. I didn't really hang out with nobody. I don't hang out with a lot of people. Now that I'm in cornhole, there's a lot of people I'm cool with. If they, they're doing something, I might go hang out or do this. But like, uh, I just kind of stayed to myself. I just learned your small circle is not a bad thing. That definitely taught
No.
me, and I teach Elijah that small circle is a-okay.
Yeah,
Like,
when we were talking when we were talking about the addiction or when we were talking about addiction on
mm-hmm,
the podcast, I know growing up, one of the things that I had learned was people, places, and things. If you hang
yeah,
around with the
yeah,
same people, that's got you in a bad situation, or if you hang
oh
around
yeah,
the same places, or you're doing the same things,
yeah,
that you need to change your people, places, and things in order
yeah,
to get yourself out of, bad
yeah,
situations. And I don't think
yeah,
I always say that, in order to make the people around you happy, like the number one person in your life is you. I
yeah.
mean,
And you're right, yeah,
you know as well as I do that if that if you're going down the wrong path, it doesn't just affect you. It affects,
no, yeah,
everybody.
everybody, yeah,
But if you finally get that respect for you now, like you obviously have now,
yeah,
and you pull yourself out of those people, places, and things, then the people that care and the people that are in that smaller circle are going to be better off too because you're
oh yeah,
better.
yeah.
You know,
And they're usually closer. They'll do anything for you, do anything for them. And then like you said with the people, place, and things is, in the self respect is like that's one of the things. I don't want to get on the addict subject, but like people don't know how to like they get so used to doing that same thing with these people and that, and then so when they try to get sober and they're by themselves and they don't know how to love themselves yet, so then they get like lost because they're lonely and they go back to hanging out with those people. So
yep,
going there definitely showed me I'm by myself all the time. I didn't need him. I'm very content by myself. I mean, I got ADD and stuff or something anyway, so I can keep myself busy and I
right,
can be very content. And then I go out like when I first started playing cornhole, go out and say what's up there, everybody, boom, boom, and then I'm back home by myself kicking it, or like might go out with my mom and
right.
sister, and then they go to the bar or something. I go out with them, but I just, I'm good with going back home and being by myself. Like, so it does teach you how to just love yourself. That's the biggest thing. Just love yourself, love who
Hmm.
you are, and be you.
I'm
You
I'm
know.
I'm learning that
So,
personally because again, I may
yeah,
not have the same I don't know background or whatever, but I still have the empathy because I've been in
yeah,
situations where especially with my
yeah.
last
Well, we've
marriage,
both been a similar. Yeah, we've been similar things. So yeah, I get it. I
you
know, I
know,
get it.
but now it's like I'm learning to love myself, and I use sports a
Hmm.
lot as
Yeah,
a distraction, I guess. You know,
yeah,
like playing cornhole 2 or 3 times a week, fucking
Yeah.
shooting darts or going to play softball or
Hmm.
roller, all those things help me to not dwell on why I have to make myself happy now. Now it's
Yeah.
just it's not why I'm making myself happy. It's just to make myself happy. It's
Yeah.
doing
Because you
those
deserve it.
yeah,
Yeah.
and
You do what you're supposed to do as a good person, so you deserve to do things that make you happy and do like you shouldn't shouldn't sit there and be miserable because somebody said you're not good enough for them or something. When it's really about your self respect. If you know that you are, otherwise they wouldn't be bothering you. And then
right,
it's like if somebody says something bad about me and somebody won't fuck with me because of that, good. I didn't need God help me get you out of my life for a reason. Like
right.
we're cool. I'm perfectly content.
And
So I
and
get it. We've been through the same
yeah,
situations.
yeah, we're smiling about it now, right?
Oh yeah, yeah. It's been
You
That's
came up to me.
hey.
You said you're probably the only person that will recognize why I'm smiling and not sad. Like I get
Yeah,
it.
hey,
I get it.
it is what it is.
Yeah.
I'm
Now
like, yeah.
I know the answer to this question, but people may not know. But like, do you feel like being in that cornhole is to me is a sport and being a part of that
Yeah, definitely.
community,
Yeah,
do you feel as if
yeah.
like are you embarrassed at all to have that past in these circles?
No, definitely no, no. And like, so I don't just go around and tell people about it. But like,
Right.
if I start getting hanging out with people that are like closer, I definitely ain't bad to bring it up because, and I like people to know too, like, yeah, hey, I got passed, because, even now, that, too, it also helps because they probably think I'm somewhat of an idiot. I'm like, yeah, I am, but look, I'm better than I was.
Right.
But, so I don't hide it at all. I don't just, I don't go around and like display it, but I definitely don't hide it because I am very grateful for situations that happen. I'm grateful for everything, like it's, so, just certain people, I'm not gonna hide it from, but I'm not gonna say it too either unless it
Right,
gets brought
right.
up. You know what I mean?
You don't
So,
walk in a room and
uh,
say, "Hey, here's my
no,
here's my fucking what the
no,
my number, my prisoner
no,
number." So you'd walk in with it like
no.
tattooed on your fucking face or something,
And
you
actually,
know.
one of the guys we started playing with, when we started doing the ACO regionals, his first time playing in tournaments and stuff. He just threw like in the backyard, and he's a big church goer and stuff, military. And I found out he was telling me one day he practiced at boards. The inmates have boards, and I'm like, he practiced at work. I was like, what? Inmates have boards? He's like, yeah, I'm a correctional officer at Big Muddy. And I laughed. I don't think I don't know if he knows yet that I'm a felon. I'm sure it'll get brought up, but I was like, yeah, maybe because he's like a good church goer. He's a real good dude. He's awesome, and he asked me to make decals for him and stuff, and he's been making like some boards and stuff, and he gave me a set of boards with like real like professional ones like we play on, and he's hooked me up, and he's a real cool dude, real good dude. But I'm like, I don't know if he knows yet. I ain't actually brought it up, but I'm sure it will get brought up. But him and his wife are nice as can be.
I do think
So
that it's like had you not ever said that to me, I wouldn't have thought
yeah,
that about you at all.
yeah,
But like
yeah,
that in my head, to me that just makes you a better person. That I
yeah,
liked you for who you were, not what you were.
yeah,
And then you in
yeah,
order you being able to be open enough about it to talk about it, to me only makes me look at you as a better person. Because again,
yeah,
like our fucking past is who we are right now. If you like me, if you
yeah,
meet me right now, you like me for what I gone through. You
yeah,
shouldn't you sh- your stereotypical mind shouldn't make me not like you any less because you're this or because you're that. I like you because of what the fuck you went through, you know? And
yeah, yeah. I get it.
what playing bags with you and seeing your competitiveness, did you see a lot of competitiveness there in the pen as far outside of
Oh, oh yeah.
particular sports, I guess. You said you
Oh, there's
played a lot of
definitely
cards,
'cause cards, dominoes, and poker tables and stuff. They're crazy on the poker table, but it's a blast. But in dominoes, and like spades, and like you can't play spades with everybody because a lot of people like talk shit playing spades or dominoes, and like the guy LJ from East St. Louis, he was locked up for he got like 25 years or something. And he's been locked up a long time since he was young, and me and him, he taught me how to dominoes, and me and him would be sitting there slamming dominoes, talking crap to each other. You would think we hate each other, but we got along great. That was one of my favorite people. And like, we just he talks shit, so I'm talking shit back, and like, so it is what it is. And then like you said earlier about being open with stuff is I think too that I like to be open because then it does weed out the people. Like if somebody's gonna judge me for because I have a past or whatever, it weeds them out.
Yeah,
And like
I love that
and
you
it's funny
said
because
that.
I could really care less if you like me or you don't like me. It's gonna be funny if somebody is like hating me for some reason, and meanwhile I'm just over here trying to learn how to throw a cornhole bag in the hole, and then I go home and I don't worry about none of that stuff. So if you like me or don't like me, I'm not gonna change who I am. Like you're probably gonna if you don't like me, you're probably gonna get mad quite a bit when I'm around you. You probably might quit coming to the tournaments that I'm at. I don't know.
Well, dude, I love hanging out with you, especially on our Thursday nights, man. Last Thursday was a blast. The Thursday before that with you was a blast too.
Oh man,
we went to a couple of the state war, the battle of the states thing. We, as competitive as we are, like I would rather throw against you and you have, because I know you'll be respectful as well. I mean, there's a few people in
Elijah says he don't like throwing against you. Because you always do too good against him. He said, no, he always gets me.
Dude, that first time I played him, I fucking murdered him twice. I was calling, honest to God, it was probably the best I ever shot. And unfortunately, it was against your kid. So, like, I know now going into playing Elijah that, like, you're going to lose again. And immediately he's like, fuck!
Yeah, he's that kid can talk some shit too, though. So he can.
I can see where he gets it from for sure.
Oh yeah, that's what started family. That's what we got for union, like family gatherings and stuff. We had a set of boards and started playing, and we thought we were good. Like I talk crap to everybody. Every time I drink, I end up losing. Like all the tournaments we had, I would do real good, and then by the end, I'd lose because I'm talking to people and not paying attention. But I still talk crap. Then he took over. He can talk some crap. He pisses me off sometimes with it. I'm like, oh man.
Yeah, I can see you. There's times I feel like you just walk over there and fucking knee check him right in his nuts and be like, dude.
Oh yeah. He pisses me off.
He's a good kid.
He beats me all the time. He beats me all the time now though. It was funny because like last summer. I remember it'd be like 19-2, and I'd be like, "Hey, you want to switch?" And he'd be like, "Yeah." And I'd still either beat him or get real close to beat him. Now, I'm just trying to keep it together and get some points and not lose, and he kicks my ass. So.
Does having him there kind of like make you better because he's a pretty damn good shooter when he wants to be.
He is. I liked it. I liked when we do doubles because I can see things that other people do wrong easier than what I do wrong.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And like I know that I do it or even get in my head and all this, and I would see things that he's doing, and so I'd be able to, hey, don't do this. You're doing this and this and this, and I'm like, well, shit, I do that. I need to quit doing that. Maybe he's learning from me. I'm showing him to do that.
So you're coaching both of you to be right. Like you tell him to do something, and then that reverberates. Oh shit, maybe I should start doing that too.
Yeah.
Yeah,
but now he kind of took off, so I don't know if he listens as much now. Now he thinks he's good. But it's with any. But it's like you always notice what people are doing more than you notice yourself. So and then you catch on. You're like, I do the same thing. I need to stop. Like the mental thing, getting in your head and stuff. Mm-hmm. You can tell when somebody gets in their head. And you think about it, it's so dumb because really you're throwing a bag and just throw the bag in the hole. If you do miss, who cares?
Right.
But it's so easy because you disappoint yourself and you disappoint your partner. But like if I'm somebody's partner, I don't care. If you want to try a shot, you want to bounce it off the wall, try to make it in, even if it don't count. I don't care. I kind of want to see it happen. I don't know.
Right.
But if you do miss, okay, it happens. I might stare at the wall and want to try to figure out why you try to do that. But I don't ever like get mad at nobody or nothing. Like you're gonna mess up sooner or later. Everybody's gonna mess.
Right. Up. Do you feel as if do you ever when you do get into your head? Like me personally, it was hard for me to go to county and shit. I'm a pretty white boy. I'm a pussy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Very, very emotional. You know what I mean? But I think that when I was there, it did make me kind of mentally stronger. When you do get into your head, do you ever kind of go back to that experience to be like, dude, I fucking survived that crazy ass shit. Why can't I throw a fucking bag in a hole?
I mean, I guess I never really thought about it because I did spend so St. Clair County. I did spend 13 months in there before trying to find my case, and then I went to prison. So it's like that. The St. Clair County is kind of rough, but at the same time, I grew up like in a definitely mixed race community, so I know so many different people. So when I do go in there, I already know a bunch of these people. I know a bunch of these people. Like I know people from everywhere, and so I really usually people. I'm pretty cool with people. Like I try not to do anybody too
Well,
wrong. I've done people
yeah.
wrong in my life without knowing, but I try to be good to everybody so they at least, so it does help that I know that I can get through anything. But for
Yeah.
some reason, cornhole is so mental
Yep.
that it's the most mental thing I ever did in my life. I don't get it. I sometimes like I'll throw great, and then as soon as the scoreboard goes on, the bag doesn't come on my
Dude,
hand right. I
all
forget what I'm doing. I don't know if I'm right-handed or left-handed or what.
yeah.
I don't know. I lose everything. It's
Well,
crazy.
the thing about sports is it exposes your inability to perform. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
it doesn't matter
Yeah.
your work ethic, like you're saying, you're waiting for me to give you a call, and you're saying you're out there shooting bags. Like to me, your work
Yeah.
ethic. That's why I've seen you've gotten so much better within the last 6 months.
Oh yeah.
Because
Yeah.
your work ethic to get better is, it's showing. I feel like
Yeah.
the same way. I'm very, very humble in this game because like I see people who are better than me and they show me things
Uh-huh.
and I take those things in. I used to be a coach, so I'm so used to coaching people that when I get coached, I kind of think like my kids, what I would want my kids to think. Like when I say something to you, I really want you to kind of take it in, try to
Yeah.
apply it to what we're doing. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
so like watching you fucking get better, and like our community is
Yeah.
pretty fucking cool, man. And there's never
Oh, I
been
love it.
like
The best thing about cornhole.
yep, I agree. And if it wasn't for the community, I don't know if I'd still be throwing,
Mhm.
because I, just like you, I'm sure I started off fucking terrible, but
Yeah, well,
every
we probably thought we were good. I mean, I'm making a couple in the hole. I thought I was pretty good, but
but everybody,
that's a whole nother level.
right. But all those people, if they didn't say, "Oh man, you had a fucking great time with you," come back, we're gonna have,
Yeah,
like
yeah,
if
yeah.
it wasn't for
Yeah.
that, we
No.
wouldn't be where we're
Yeah.
at. I look forward to
No.
Thursday nights because I've made so many friendships over
Oh yeah, definitely.
through cornhole and through
Such a
like
variety of people you throw with too. It's crazy.
yeah.
I mean, just the difference in people you throw with is like you never know who you're gonna throw next to. Like you get to talk, and I love networking. So you get talking to people, and you find out they do this for a living, or they do. And it's just crazy. And like it's that's the funnest part of the community. Is awesome.
All
It's
right,
great.
so I'm trying to wrap it up here a little bit. So I don't know
Yeah.
how to, because usually I'm like, as a this, how would you tell this to these people about this topic? And I don't think that there's really a way that I can say, as a felon, what would you tell another felon to, about sports? You know what I mean?
I tell them don't take up cornhole. It's gonna piss you off and ruin your life. And it's an addiction.
Or
It is an
forget
addiction.
it,
You're gonna buy a whole bunch of bags.
yes.
Oh my god.
I played softball, dude.
Uh.
I played softball my whole fucking life, and I bought one bat. I had it for I bought $300 bat. I had it for 3 hours. Felt bad that I bought a $300 bat and then sold it that same day.
Yeah.
I have like $600
me-
worth of fucking bags, bro. Probably more.
Right. Oh yeah. All you gotta do is tell me you got a set of bags on sale, and every time I'm like, Les, I can't pass that up. I got 2 more sets coming in the mail now. I got like 20 sets. I'm like, well, Elijah, he's just encouraged it. I just buy them all. I'm like, I bet you would.
Yeah, he would.
I'm like, whoa.
See, they
Oh my
have
God.
no perception of money yet. You know what I mean?
No,
They just think it
yeah,
grows in our
yeah.
pocket, and that if
Yeah.
it's going to help him or you to do better, he's like,
Yeah.
they just let's buy this.
It
Let's
ain't
buy that.
helping. It
No,
ain't
it's not
helping.
fucking
Half the time you don't
helping.
even eat it. And, bags are so weird because you don't even know if you're gonna like them. So you might get them and not even like them and throw them a couple times. They sit.
Yeah,
But it's yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like cornhole is ruining my life, but it's helping it too so much. It's ruining it, but it's helping it so much. I don't get
agree.
nothing else done though. I'm like you said, with practicing and stuff. I'm like, I just want to beat Candyman, Mike, and Aaron. And it's crazy because I've never seen any of them do a shot that I can't do, but somehow they just every time they beat me so bad,
Dude,
bro.
same, dude.
Like,
Same.
oh,
Same. You know, I put a lot of, you know, especially when I play like Mike and Candyman and, you know,
yeah,
Patty and all these guys who are really good. I feel as if
yeah,
I shoot better when I'm playing them. Or
yeah,
if I'm playing, you know, somebody who just started, I'm probably going to score a 4 against that guy
yeah.
because
I'm a hit or miss.
I shoot to my
Yeah.
competition for some fucking reason, you
I'm
know?
either real confident shooting good, and then I make some dumb shots, and I lose my confidence and mess up. But Mike's the worst because he's good and he's so nice too. So he's like
I
encouraged you to do good, and I'm like,
know.
he wants you to beat him. I'm like, I'm not used to these tactics right here. I
Right,
don't know
right.
how to take this.
That
He's like,
reverse psychology.
yeah, he's an asshole. I'm like, man, I'm like, is he trying something on me? These tactics are crazy, bro.
Yeah. Don't
He's
talk to me,
awesome.
Mike. Just don't fucking
Yeah,
talk.
if I'm usually talking to him and then he talks back, and I'm like, shit.
Just beat my ass. You know, just beat my ass.
Yeah.
Don't
Yeah.
sugarcoat it.
Yeah.
You know, we know you're
Oh,
fucking
man.
good. Don't let me
Yeah.
feel good. I'd rather you beat the fuck out
Yeah.
of me, so I know that I got to get better. But if you give me the chance, and I have this false fucking ego that I got, and then the very next game I get my ass kicked fucking 21-7 because you gave me this false
Yeah.
fucking hope that I'm actually that good.
Yeah.
You just had a bad fucking game, bro. That's it.
Yeah. Or the one time at the Border Wars, I'm pretty sure he gave me 4 pity points because he was winning like 19-0, and it kind of pissed me off. He says he didn't, but I swear I think he did. I'm like, Mike, what the hell? I'm not trying to sleep, but you don't give me no fucking pity points. What's wrong with you?
Like he beat me 21-7,
Yeah.
21-13 in the last Border War that I played him, and maybe it was 7. I don't know, but just like, you know, that's the best part is seeing your growth and like hitting the shots that you want.
Yeah.
It's kind of like golf.
Yeah.
You know, you're like in your head, you're gonna throw an air mill. Holy fuck, I hit it. Now I got
Yeah.
enough confidence to try it again. I'm probably gonna miss, but at least, you know, I have the confidence now to at least fucking try it, you know. But
that, you know what, that is how you can kind of put sports with felons is as I did learn, you just got to slow down because I'll practice shots I hit all the time, and then the game I go too fast and I forget to do the certain, you know, like a roll, I forget to flip my wrist up or something like. So
Yeah.
if you just slow down in life in general, you know, sports or anything, slow down and really think about, you know, trust your training. Like you've been practicing for this, you've been doing it, you know what to do. So slow down and just take your time with everything, and just in life in general. So, you know, if you think something's a bad situation, slow down, think about it. Don't make that choice. You know, make a different choice. Wait a day before you make a choice, or do something. You know, so that is kind of one thing you can learn from sports, going to sports and a felon. You know,
dude,
so
that was my whole body has goosebumps because the way you like. I don't know. I wouldn't have known how to frame that question, and I think you
it just popped in my
answered it.
head. It just ran. It just
Dude.
happened when we were talking.
Dude, but I mean, that's kind of the point of this conversation.
That's
Like,
it.
I'm talking.
Yeah,
I'm talking
yeah.
to a felon about sports. We got off topic a couple of times, but at the end of the day,
That was bunch, yeah.
at the end of the day, you say, you know, as a felon, and you're in a bad situation, just like sports or anything. You know, take your time, step out of the box, reset, fucking,
Yeah.
you know, you see me shake the bag in front of my face. And that's because Bubba and Aaron would say, dude, like, slow the fuck down. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Think about what you have to do.
Yeah.
Don't just get up there and willy-nilly and do it. You already know what you're supposed to do, but take your time, breathe, and throw it. And you
Yeah,
relating
that's it.
you relating that to life, and so that other people don't, you know, I guess, I don't know, become a felon
Yeah.
or whatever. And I honestly think that's one of the best life lessons that you can have. Like you're hearing it straight from the horse's mouth, so to speak. You know what I mean? I feel as if like all the shit that you've been through, it only makes me closer to you as far as a friend.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because
Yeah.
as an empathetic person, I empathize with the shit that you've been through. I know that it's made you who you are today, and that makes me like and love you even more. And it makes me look forward to hanging out with you more than just, you know, on a fucking cornhole board. So
Yeah, and it helps, you know, too, because you know that other people go through something like, who am I? I can't judge nobody for any choice they do in life. Like, you know, I might try to tell them, you know, if something bad, tell them against it or something. But you know, in the long run, nobody's gonna listen to you. They, you know, they're gonna do what they want to do. So, but that does help. That, you know, I ain't gonna judge nobody. That's why I don't like people to judge me. You know,
yeah. And dude,
and so that's it.
I we'll wrap this up. But last thing I want to say is, dude,
Yep.
again, I commend you for putting yourself out there. And like,
Oh, yeah.
I'm the same way. If this conversation, maybe people may not know that you were a felon. If at any point
Yeah.
in time after this conversation that they look at you different or they look at a felon any different, then those aren't the people that we want around us anyway. You know what I mean? And
Right.
so, like,
Right.
I putting yourself out there is very commendable and very brave. I know it's very cliche, but dude, I can't thank you enough for doing this for me and for the 102 people that might listen to this fucking podcast or whatever. But dude,
Yeah.
I cannot thank you enough for doing that for me. So thank you.
Yeah, no problem. I had fun. I appreciate you having me on here. That's fun.
Yeah,
Like I said, we got off topic a couple times, but it's all right.
no,
We're
no,
good.
I got you.
I
I also
appreciate
got
it.
you as a single dad too. So if we get a stereotype
Hey,
where I get to talk to a single dad, we'll have another conversation for sure, dude.
yeah.
So
After this podcast, there might be some lady. It might not be single. You never know. It might go popular. It might go
hey
famous.
ladies, look at this
I
guy.
don't want no. I've got enough problems in my life. I'm cool by myself right now. I'm cool. I'm joking. One of them dark girls will try to kill me. Them dark girls were gonna kill me.
Dude, they were.
They were mad.
Hey man, but I don't think it was.
I think the one called me a bitch. The one time I got kind of. This world's crazy.
Hey,
I'm getting
hey,
out of here.
You've been called worse by better people. I'm sure of that.
Oh, yeah, it didn't bother me at all. I thought it was hilarious, but I'm like, she's getting feisty. I'm like, oh crap, I don't even know what I did to her.
Well,
I don't know.
Again,
But,
great
yep.
conversation, man. I can't wait to put it out there so
Yes,
people
sir.
can learn from it.
Yeah, we always have a good conversation.
Oh wait, so
Appreciate you.
a big round of applause here for Adam and the conversation we had. Adam, once again, I thank you. Everybody, say bye to Adam. Bye, Adam.
Thanks for having
I
me.
appreciate you, dude.
Bye.
I'll
No
talk
problem.
to you guys on the flip side. Deuces.
Yep. All right. Deuces.
Okay, there you have it. That was our felon. He is a fucking riot. We had such a good time talking. Man, Adam is a trip, and I really hoping that it opened your eyes to not, every stereotype like a felon, isn't a good person, because that dude is. And I appreciate him so very much for just, talking and being honest about the shit. Sometimes it's hard. And this next conversation is, it can be hard too. Talking about anything when you're in the midst of an addiction can be hard. So we're going to talk to Ashley next. She's our addict, and I don't know how we're going to connect it to sports, but we'll do the best we can, and I will see you guys on the flip side. Okay, we're here. We're back from the flip side. We just got done talking to our felon about sports. So now we're going to talk to an addict, or a former addict, that is, and we're going to talk about sports. So everybody, welcome Ashley. Give her a big round of applause. She can't hear it, but there's cheer track going in the background. Let's give her another round. I kind of like that one. So anyway, Ashley, you might know her from our first episode when we were talking to Stereotype. She was our mom, and we talked about death last time. So it's a little different from death, but we're going to talk about sports. Okay? So not for sure how we're going to connect it very much, but I think we can do a good job, kind of mixing it in with your other stereotype as a mom. And so, Ashley, as a former addict, how did sports impact you at all whenever you were kind of in the midst of being an addict?
Well, when at the beginning of my addiction, it really didn't do too much. Towards the end of it, it did a lot. That's where I was probably the most of my addiction. Just missing a lot of my kids' sports events. But I can say that from where I am then and to where I am now, is a total different person through
Yeah,
my addiction. Um, I mean, I showed up and I showed out,
for sure.
but
we've you know
um,
it's been a while that I was able to get you on because kids got wrestling
sports,
and
yes,
sports.
yeah, yeah.
Now, growing up, was sports a big part of your life growing up?
Oh yeah. I mean, I played softball my whole life. My dad played softball. You played softball. We had co-ed softball. You did hockey. So yeah, sports has been in our lives since I was little. Just even not even playing, but just watching.
Right. Now, do you feel that I don't know, like whenever you were we were big Cardinal fans and Blues fans and stuff like that. Did you see any type of like I don't know, like betting or people being into sports, being in a circle of addiction or whatnot?
Yeah, absolutely. My dad actually. My dad bet on sports a lot, and it came to a resolution that no family actually really wanted, but yeah, sports has been in our life for a long time, and I believe that I recall that's why my mom and dad got a divorce. Was my dad actually betting a lot on sports?
Now, did you see any other addicts kind of do the same thing where like you're addicted to one thing? Did you ever see them doing a lot of betting on other things, kind of in that circle with other addicts?
Like, what do you mean?
Like,
Like,
were they also betting on sports? Did they watch sports? Were they into sports at all?
oh
Or was
yeah,
that kind of more just you know you're
the betting
streamlined,
situation.
just
No,
anything? You know what
it
I
was
mean?
yeah, it was literally the sports all around, betting sports, watching sports, playing sports, all of it.
Now, did any of the circles that you ran with was sports in those circles? Like, did I don't know. Did you guys get high and bet on sports or watch the Blues game or what I mean? Was sports prevalent at all during the midst of an addiction?
Um, to an extent, but really in the addiction that I fall in, not really because we were just chasing our next high.
Right.
It didn't matter if it was through a sports team or if it was through getting there first or getting the best thing or whatnot, but I wouldn't say more through sports where I was at, no.
Right. I mean, I wouldn't necessarily think that either, but it's kind of something that I maybe
I
a
mean,
quite.
if you would call gambling a sport, then absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, they just bet on anything, wouldn't they?
Yeah, I mean, not only that, but like the slots type, like that was really big part of our addiction. That it attracted that, we played the slots a lot, and
Yeah.
that's one thing we did. So I mean, I mean, that would be more of gambling, but not sports. But
Yeah, I mean, in a way, you still kind of get that same high. Like, I know,
yeah,
I
and
don't,
that's exactly how.
right. You're waiting for that next big hit. You spend more money
Yeah.
than you lose, but, that next big hit is kind of the same thing. Because, I mean, I've played the slots quite a bit, and I mean, that instant gratification of winning something, you know.
Hmm.
Now, does the kids do the kids being in sports, um, did you know that you were missing a lot of that while you were in there?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, there would be times where, like, mom would message and be like, "Oh, your kid's got to meet today or tournament today or whatever," and I'm like, "Oh, I'll be there." And well, that 1 minute to 1 hour would lose track of time trying to get high. That I would be an hour late to the wrestling meet or whatever it is. I mean, to me at that time was I'm still here, however
Right.
late I am, but yeah, so
Do you feel like now that you've been 4 years sober?
Yep.
Now that you've been 4 years sober and you're obviously a wonderful mom now, does does the guilt of not being there kind of push you to drive you to make sure that you're there and they're there and
Oh, absolutely. Even when I was using, I would show up, but like now that I'm sober and I'm there from start to beginning, it's just like I look back like, how did I miss this? Like my kids aren't just your regular kids that don't do nothing. They're very athletic.
right,
So to see where they are now and even when where they were then, to know I was missing that always puts a burden. Like, a wrestling tournament is hours and hours long. So I
right,
have lots of time to sit and think. So it crosses my mind all the time. Like, not only that, it just gives me so much adrenaline that, like, because they're not just kids that are in wrestling or kids that are in football. They're like main kids. They're starting quarterbacks, starting running back.
right.
They only, their record in wrestling is so high. So like when I have all them hours to sit waiting for them to do what they're love to do, I'm thinking like, how did you miss this? Like, why were you always late? Like, I was that mom, like, I showed. It might be 30 minutes late or an hour late, but I showed. And now that I'm sober and I sit back, I'm like, why did I literally, why did I sit there and miss all that? Like, and not to mention, not only did I miss it, but like, how did they feel that I
Right,
showed up that late? How did they feel that I'm sitting there,
right. You're not just
screaming?
there.
Yeah, exactly, exactly.
Do you think that that kind of now that you're there, you've seen I guess an improvement in their athletics,
Oh,
their work, their hard work, their ethic, knowing that, you're dropping them off, you're picking them up, and if you're late, it's because she shit her pants or something.
exactly. Or the baby shit her
Yeah,
pants.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
You
yeah,
know what I'm saying?
yeah.
Absolutely, 100%. And not only that, like they just see. That's kind of hard to say, but like, and I don't want to say that I'm around my kids or I used to be around my kids very fucked up because I've never was like that. But when you use, you're still under the influence. So years back, I would show up and I'm screaming and and like I'm like I would lose my voice because I'm screaming so hard. Well, here I am 4 years later at all these meets and games, and I'm like, why do I still have a voice? Well, because I can maintain myself. You know what I'm saying? I
Right,
maintain myself. Like I'm that cheer mom, but I'm not the extreme cheer mom that I was back then.
right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. I think that the irregulation of emotions, is probably misplaced at in certain spots, and I'm sure that's a spot where you're feeling a lot of emotion watching your kid, plus you're a little buzzed up, so it's like,
Exactly. So it like regulates it.
yeah.
Now, my son's running the ball, getting ready to make a touchdown, and I'm not only screaming for him, but I'm in tears because I feel that, you
Right,
know,
right,
or he's on the mat, getting ready to tech fall this kid, and I'm holding my composure a little more because I could feel them emotions. When I was using, I couldn't feel them emotions
did
as
you
like I should.
right, did you ever go to like a major sporting event buzzed up at all, like a blues game or a baseball game or
Oh
anything like
yeah,
that?
absolutely.
Was
But
that any
I was
different?
so it is now. Actually, when I first became sober, I went to a blues game with you and your daughter and our sister and your daughter's friend. And I was actually pregnant at the time, but I didn't tell you guys at that time. And I was completely sober. So, like, it is a lot different. Like, you're not sitting there like, "Wee," or whatever it
Yeah,
is, but
yeah.
you're actually enjoying and actually noticing the game than you are all messed up and enjoying yourself more than what you should be, I should say.
Right. Did you ever miss that? Did you ever like while you're in the middle of it, it's like, man, I wish we could go to a blues game. I kind of miss going there, or like catching
Oh,
yourself wanting to know the score, or or
Right. Not knowing what's even going on.
yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah, because
Even like with concerts like that, like going there so messed up that like I didn't even know what was going on. And here I have two concerts lined up and I'm so excited to go because it's the two concerts I have been sober that I can actually know what's going on.
right. Well, like I know that like when things were pretty bad, on the outside, seeing how athletic the kids were, and then how because it's kind of weird that all of our all my nephews, all of our kids really are just kind of gifted athletically, you know and I guess, like I asked earlier, how they work harder because mom's there now. Like I can't imagine how, I don't know, how far they'll be able to go because you're there now. Don't get us wrong. Like before, you fell into what, a 2-year addiction. I mean, it wasn't like you
No,
were.
it actually, I thought it was 2 years, and it definitely was a lot longer because when I was sitting in jail, I was like, oh my gosh, I was out there for that long.
It
It
wasn't
was
like
actually,
you were
it
like
was, it was
like
four,
what'd you say? Go ahead. 4 years.
yeah, it was over 4 years that I was actually out there, and I had no idea it was that long until I was sitting in jail, like, oh my God, I've missed this much.
Now, do you after again, like going back before that, it was like you were never like that. You were a great mom, you were
Yeah,
always
and
home.
I
It
was
was,
there,
yeah,
yes.
it was like just 4 bad years turned into, you know I don't know, the betterment for the rest of your life, because I don't think that you would be at the sporting events or pushing your kids to be better at sports if you hadn't gone through that. You know what I mean?
Oh, absolutely.
And I think that's where a lot of people kind of get it's hard to talk. We just talked to a felon, so now we're talking to an addict about sports or whatever. But like the addiction, it doesn't it may, to me, it makes you who you are now. And if people see who you are now as a good person, then it shouldn't matter what you had done in your past. The reason why you're a good
Right.
person today is because you went through that. And because
Absolutely.
if they find out that you were a former addict and they look at you any differently, then that's a problem on them, because up until that point they liked and loved you and appreciated, your motherhood and whatever it is, your friendship. But if that's something that brings that down, then I don't think those are the type of people that, we'd really want around anyway.
Exactly. And Caden actually made a comment not that long ago. Um, like not even a comment, but like his feelings towards me.
Right.
Like you could tell like when I was there at his wrestling or whatever it is, the way he would act towards me, like after a match he lost or something, would be so dramatic and like just treat me so bad. I'm like, I'm not the one that came out there and lost or,
Right.
just anything like that. Now, when he loses, he doesn't come so dramatic towards me now. And I don't know if his his thoughts and feelings when he did lose when I was in my addiction, that
Is
had a lot to probably do with his mentalness.
right.
But now when he loses, like these last couple years that I've been sober, he don't come up to me acting crazy or so mad. Like it would be like it's my fault he lost out there on that mat. I'm like, don't treat me like that. Like it's not my fault that that kid was stronger than you or whatever it is. Now when he comes back from a match, he's upset. He is. I let him go and I let him, sit and like think about it. But before it was like, Caden, hey, what happened out there? Even when I was using, I'm like, hey, what happened out there? I mean, like, blah, blah, blah. Now when he loses a match, he comes up to me, he's like, I don't know, mom, and he'd talk to me. But I think the feelings of me using back in the day when he lost a match, he wasn't only angry at the match he lost, but he was angry at me because he knew what I was doing. Does that make
Right.
sense?
No, it does. I mean, that's kind of what I was going to answer with, was that he was just he's angry knowing that you're there like that, and he lost,
Right.
so he's going to take it out on you because
Yes.
who else is he
And
going
it's
to take
not
it
that
out
I
on?
literally came to my kids' stuff super fucked up, because I would never ever show up to my kids like that,
Right,
super fucked up. But they knew my situation at the time.
right.
You
You
know what I'm
either
saying?
weren't
Like
home,
I
you
would,
weren't home for a day or two, and then you show up, and
right.
you
And
know,
then I would leave and be all messed up. And then I would come back when I was coming down, and they would see me regularly. Like I never was around my kids super fucked up, but they knew the situation at that time, and they knew something was wrong. So now, when he does a match or whatever, or comes up, and he knows the difference, and I feel the difference because he doesn't come to me like he used to. I'm like, why is he so mad at me? Like I'm not up there on that mat,
right, right.
But yeah, and it's totally different, because I was telling mom, like, man, I don't know if I can handle him coming at me like that. And the last couple of years, he was like, like he would come back, and I'm like, I'm so afraid for Caden to come back. And mom's like, well, let's just see how he is. And then he would come back, and he just wants to be by himself and doesn't say nothing to me. But before, it was like, and like would always give me the grief. And now I'm realizing it's because he's not only angry at the match he just did, but he's angry at my life as well.
Right, right. And I mean, especially in
Well,
most
that's
sports
what
is
hurt.
mental anyway. Like,
Oh, absolutely. And that's what I'm saying is like, it was just super bad with his mentalness as the sport, and his mentalness as his home spot with his mother. Not
right,
only that his dad passed away and he doesn't know about his dad as much, that I'm all he has, and I did that. You know what I mean? So it's like,
right. Do you feel like uh, that sports kind of, I don't know, replaced you not being there during your addiction for your kids? I know, especially for
I would,
Caden,
yeah, I wouldn't say replaced, but I think that
it helped get their mind off of it.
yes, I'm glad that it was there for them to experience, for them to take their mind off a lot of what I was doing, so they can do what they were doing, football, football or wrestling, that it gave them more time to think about that than they did about me.
And I think it
So
was
yeah,
they picked a couple of violent sports too. So,
yeah, I
like
mean, they don't, yeah.
their anger and their just
Well,
the stuff that they were going through, those were two sports that were really kind of that was helping. Even Bentley, when he started playing football,
yeah,
I felt like
yeah, he just quit football last year, so like I think that helped him a lot as well, is that like they could take what they kept in out on them sport.
right, yes. And I mean, I remember doing that. Just like it it sucks to know that even that you were in an addiction at a point, you were still trying to show up. I mean, there were times where I the reason why I show up is because they didn't show up for me very often. You know what I mean? And so like I think I commend you for even in the middle of the addiction, that you were still trying to make it
I
to
was
see your
trying.
kids.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I was
yeah,
trying. Like now, that is my new addiction. Not only addiction to be a mother that I used to be before my addiction, but my new addiction is I literally live, breathe, work, being a mother, and sports. Like if it does not involve them three, like I cannot be with you. Like I cannot be
right,
around you. Like
right.
I love my work. I love being a mother that I used to be, and I love my kids playing sports. Like that's my new addiction right now.
You're going all the time.
I definitely am. Like I literally even have like so many people in my inbox like, "Hey, you want to go on a date?" I'm like, "Nope, ain't got time." "Oh, you got time?" I'm like, "Nope, no time. I work, I have 4 kids, and I have sports. I have no time." Literally.
and probably because you're out of town, either at a
Yes,
meet or
yes,
football or
literally. Like it's literally I live, eat, and breathe work, being a mom, and sports, and I love every single moment of it. Like I love it. I can't express how much I love being a mother, working where I work, and being a sportsman. Like I love it.
they're
Absolutely
well.
100%.
If
And
anybody knows you, they'll catch that drift real quick because you're.
and they have. And they have. Some
That's
still don't understand it, but they I mean, I've told them. I'm straight up honest with them, like this is what I live for, and if you don't like it, I'm sorry.
and I do think that Caden going through what he did, and because he kind of went through it right in the middle of like him growing up. His
And he did, and I actually got a message from a teacher the other day, well actually from the therapist, that one of his friends lost her babysitter last weekend on a motorcycle accident in Alton. And Caden kind of made a comment on it. And the therapist was like, hey, I used to make comments when I lost my parents, blah, blah. Caden kind of went to her and got teary-eyed and was like, yeah, like I'm not making fun of her, but I'm making fun of her to an extent that I know what she's going through. And so that was a big ordeal. Like Caden's at that point where he's asking questions. He's
Yeah.
wanting to know what's happened. He wants to know what it could have been, would have been, and should have been before now.
right,
And it really breaks my heart. And especially with me going through what I did right after his dad passed away. So it's like, what do I do? Because he don't know what it was. He don't know what's gonna be,
right,
but he knows what it should have been.
right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
With my addiction.
yeah.
So
And I think you just be completely honest with him because the first question that you should ask him is, "Are you happy with me as your mom now?" And if he answers
and
yes, then
and he is.
that's what you
But
say
his
to
his
him.
big thing is what would it have been if it wasn't that? And that's what when the paper I got from his therapist at school when it came back was that. Like what would it be if it wasn't that? He's angry at the situation. He don't know what it could have been. But Caden's never really expressed his feelings about that with
Right,
my addiction.
right.
So
Do you know that he knows that it was specifically an addiction or like on
he does.
drugs or whatever?
Well, see, he didn't. None of my kids knew for the longest time, but they know now exactly what happened. So I think that kind of helped them to an extent, especially Bentley, that what happened with his dad, then what happened with me with the addiction part.
Right. I mean, do you, especially from Bent, because I know Bent was, super angry
He was
for,
5. Yeah, he
you
was.
know,
Yeah, he was. He was super angry.
especially whenever you were going through your stuff, he was super angry. Do you see like he has a better rap, around everything now and kind of isn't as angry with you because of that? And
Absolutely.
does he support you, being gone all the time with Caden and, pushing sports?
He definitely does. I mean, Bentley did do his sports and stuff too. I mean, I sometimes I wonder if you know, if me showing so much support with Caden in his sports aggravates him or like gets him. And I've asked him before and he's like, no, 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 no. But it's not like I'm buying their love, but like he got a PC and like
Right.
like little things like this, you know what I'm saying? Like I'm still supporting you through what you love,
Right.
even though it's not through support or like sports,
Right.
but
Right. You're
I'm
supporting
still
his
support.
interests. Your
Absolutely.
your brother's
And he
interest just has to
understands that.
be in Chicago or
Yeah,
Indianapolis
or
or
Kansas City
yeah.
or,
Yeah, yeah.
other things like that. And I mean, Bentley does tag along through all them. So I mean, he supports his brother too. When we go to Chicago, when we go to Kansas City, he makes sure he goes. So like he knows the things too.
Yeah. He know it's he's always there. Do you think that ever he has any regrets for not playing more sports at all?
I do to an extent. I do, yeah. But Bentley, you know, he's hit his stuff a lot and like has he was grown, not grown, but he was, older when his dad passed away and stuff. So he like has realized everything. So I think not that he feels sorry for Caden, but he supports
Right.
me doing this with Caden so he can get through the stuff maybe, does
Yeah.
that make sense?
Yeah. I mean, he's
Yeah.
he's helping his brother just,
Yeah.
just grow up really without having to worry
Yeah.
about, mom's not like that
What was.
anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah, what could have been doesn't matter because what is happening is what would have happened in no matter what anyway.
Exactly.
Because you were like that even beforehand. And I don't,
Mhm.
because you were there even in the midst of it at certain points, even, just a little buzzed or whatever it was, it just shows that, it wasn't like you just completely abandoned them. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
And then now,
And that's one thing, and because Bentley grew up with me there at all times.
right,
So it's like, okay, so now that I'm gone them couple years to an extent because I was around, but I wasn't. So it's like, okay, so let me show my brother that mom's still here, but she's not. So it's like to keep that going, like maybe hyped up for Caden to let him know, like, hey, like mom's still there,
right.
but you know,
And kudos to mom for, while you were gone for,
oh my goodness.
getting the kids back and forth at Lindsay. You know what I
I
mean? Those,
literally couldn't thank that lady enough. Like, if it wasn't for her, my kids wouldn't be where they're at. I wouldn't have my kids. The way I treated her was absolutely insane. And as I look back at it now, like, it was like that tough love with her. But
hmm
I mean, she tried so, so hard and I just treated her like shit and just, underneath her roof in her basement. And she had my kids at all times. And it was just like, if it wasn't for her, I couldn't be where I am 4 years later. 100%. I mean, I couldn't thank absolutely anybody besides her and what I did to get my kids.
yeah. And again, equating it to sports, she was begrudgingly taking the kids to the, the meets and the and
Yes.
and the stuff too, and trying to do it, pretty much by herself for the most part. And
Yeah.
I think, while you're in the middle of it, the kids were still being able to play the sports, and then when you came out, you were
Right.
able to like feed into it a lot more, and then kind of in a long way around it, you're proving how good of a mom you are by facilitating their wants and their needs through sports, and in like Bentley's case, like gaming or you know driving or whatever it is. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I think that's something that's shouldn't go unnoticed as far as you know
Absolutely.
what you've been through, and how the kids are today, and they're they are who they are, and they will be who they will be because of the strength of their mom. And I think the sports that you got them in, especially Caden and our other nephews, these are sports that kind of require a lot of discipline. And I think they
Yep.
may have used it, the violent nature to kind of, because I think your kids probably would have blew up. Their heads would have just
Oh,
blown up
absolutely.
without sports and seeing all the stuff that they had gone through. But I think with them being in sports and having certain interests, now that you're sober and you're back to your old ways as far as being a great mom, that I think that's only going to make them better at sports, or
Absolutely. 100.
gaming or whatever. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Even when it comes to even when it comes to like with Bentley, just like beginning to drive and with his football and or his gaming or whatever it is, like I literally could not ask for a better kid than I do with Bentley. It doesn't matter if I ask to take the trash out, if I ask to clean this, if I ask to do that. Like Bentley will never give me a talk back. Bentley will always do what I need. And for what he has went through with my addiction, I am super blessed that he doesn't take my addiction like take and like
Use it
use it
again.
against.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
use it against me.
Yeah. And I remember when he wasn't like that towards you.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I think
Like
again,
I
his
literally,
misplaced anger,
oh
he
my
was
gosh,
mad at you all the time, so he wouldn't.
he was so mad at me. Even when I got him back, I'm just like, I literally had to build my relationship with him so much that like I didn't think I was ever going to get my relationship back with him because he was so angry. He was at that age that he was so angry with me that like it felt like an eternity to get my relationship back with him. But I'm so blessed that he seen where I came from to where I am now, that he accepts me and knows where I am now.
I think him being as mature as he is, he knows that
Yes,
you also need help, and that you deserve
yes,
that help now because you've proven to your kids that for one, it'll never be like that again, and for two,
yes.
the stability now. This is our life. This
Yeah,
is
exactly.
nothing's really going to change. So he's kind of went the bumpy road as far as like getting that maturity and being a great brother. But
Yes,
uh,
and there's still times like every single time register Caden for a tournament or pay the $150 for wrestling or football I meant or anything like that, I feel so guilty that I feel like I need to buy him something because I feel guilty in the way that I'm spending all this money on wrestling. Wrestling is not cheap
right,
whatsoever. Hotel rooms, wrestling tournaments, t-shirts, sweatshirts, food, the traveling, like everything. You know what I'm saying? Like
right,
all this, I feel like every time I do something with Caden, I feel like I have to reimburse to Bentley. And when I do that, Bentley's like, "Well, why are you doing this?" Like, and I mean, he don't expect it, but I feel like as an addict that I need to please both of my
you
kids.
got to keep making
You know
it
what I
up. You
mean?
got to keep making it up,
Yes,
and
I
then
have
you
to keep making up what I didn't do or what I didn't, and I feel like I have to do that the rest of my life, which I know I don't. I know my kids love me dearly, and they know where I'm at now, and they know I will do anything and everything for them. But the guilt for the last 4 years that I didn't have with them, that I should have with them, I should say,
right.
should build up to it. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I'm so blessed that Bentley's not that kid that's like, Mom, you don't have to do this because you just spent $100 on Caden's wrestling. Mom,
Right.
you don't have to do this because you spent $100 on this. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, but I feel like the guilt in me from being an addict has to do that.
Right. Right. Because you don't want to lose them again based off of,
Exactly, exactly.
like you trying to thinking that you're showing more love to another.
More favorite, yes,
Yeah. Because if you had to, it'd be, if anybody's winning your attention, it's Chucky. Because
exactly.
that kid's just.
100%. 100%. Like literally, like
Eli's just
100%.
climbing on you all the time.
Yes.
All the time. All the time.
And that, and I don't want to say this, but I'm kind of grateful he was so young when that happened because like he don't know what I went through
Right. Right.
like the older boys do.
Right.
So it's like $65 for him to play T-ball. I'll do that in a heartbeat. He's about to play
Right.
T-ball again. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Right.
absolutely. I'll spend $1,000 on you to play T-ball. But he don't understand like the big boys do. Like, hey, like mom's been through this. Mom's done this. Mom's done
Right.
that. Da, 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 da.
They're not.
He don't know.
He doesn't like. See, I think with the other boys, they're grateful now too.
Oh,
You know what I mean?
absolutely, 100%.
I know Bentley is for sure. He's grateful now that you're home, and so, you know, he wants to keep you around, so he wants to make things a little easier for you. You know what I mean? And I think,
Yes.
Caden too is grateful for that. I think that's why he's starting to ask questions. He's becoming, why is mom always taking me to these? You know what I mean?
Right.
He's never really
Right.
thought about that. He just goes out there, but maybe now he's going to know that he was fed into sports not only because that's where we came from, but especially now because you're making it up for when you weren't there during his sports and shit. And so,
Yes.
he might be seeing that or feeling that, gratefulness that from you for doing all that. Now he's still young, but you know,
I mean,
asking
don't get me wrong.
questions.
He still wants his mama all the time. But when he gets to mama, he's like, "Where's mommy? Where's mommy? Is
Right.
mommy coming tonight? Mommy, mommy, mommy." So,
Oh yeah, yeah.
and it
Can I
is,
call
and that's
mom?
where I am.
Can I
Yes,
call mom?
yes,
Can I call? No, she's at
yes,
work. Let me call her. She'll answer. No, she
yes.
won't. Go to bed.
And that's where I'm at right now. And I definitely would not know what I would do when we lose mom, because that kid is mama's boy, because that's where he grew up. But like, I've had him for almost 3 years now, back in my custody, and oh my gosh, it's still mama this, mama that, mama that.
Can I call
And then when he's
mama?
at mama, it's like, but when he's at mama's, it's like he has his own phone, so he
Yeah.
calls me 100 times a day. Mom, mom, where you at? Where you at? Where you at? So
Same place
he's
I
like
was
in the
5 minutes
mix of
ago.
everything. Yeah,
Well, great conversation. I know it was kind of hard to kind of equate it, but I think going back with your old stereotype as being a mom, mixed in with being an addict, and us our just our family alone, our extended family being so ingrained in sports, it was, obvious that
it was great.
our
Yes,
kids were going to be in sports too. And I do think that, you know, the sports that they chose kind of help get them through your addiction. And then now that you're
absolutely.
sober, I think, you know, they're it kind of gives them a more of a reason to kind of push to be better at that because they've already went through the worst of times through it. So, now you're
Why can't they
there.
be the best? Yes,
Now you're there. And now, as shitty as it sounds, the guilt that you have could just be the driver to, get them to a specific I don't know, tryout or something that's going to land them a college scholarship or something. And had you not gone through what you did, you may not be able to facilitate something like that and have them, miss opportunities. So again, I think that your addiction really kind of, you know, not only made you but your kids better people in a sense that, you're making up for lost time, and maybe that
ab-
that you making that up is going to give them the opportunities to be where they need to be, in sports or school or whatever, to I don't know, be better in life, go to college, or you know whatever it may be.
absolutely. So Caden always asks me, he's like, "Mom, I want to do football because he's a starting running back." And he's like, "But I want to do wrestling in college." And I'm like, "Look, Caden," I was like, "a lot of people do a lot of people do football. Let's try wrestling." He's like, "Yeah, that's what I'm gonna do." So he has his heart set on wrestling for college. So the other last week or whatever, the only time I let him do freestyle was when we were in Tennessee and he got his butt kicked. I'm talking about, I am literally a proud and loud mom on that mat. And they're like, "Well, who's your kid?" I'm like, "This one right here." And then everyone's like, "Oh my God, he's so good." So on freestyle, I'm like, mm, my kid's not out there because he got his butt kicked. So when we did our last tournament of the year, I was like, it was a freestyle and a folk style. And he's like, "Let me do freestyle." I'm like, "Absolutely not." He's like, "Mom, please, please. It's only $30." I'm like, "All right." I signed him up. Tell me why that kid came out in that tournament at first place on freestyle. And it killed me. I'm like, you proved me so wrong. Like, so wrong. Like, I cannot believe you just came out on first on freestyle and second on folk style.
Well,
But
think about it. You may not have been able to give him that
I would,
opportunity in the past.
absolutely not.
You know what I mean?
I mean, if it was 4 years ago and he asked me that, I'd been like, hell no, and I just would have just wrote it off. My mom, Tracy, would have literally signed him up for folk style, and we would have just went, and I probably would have been 30 or an hour late to the tournament, And I'm just super glad, and it made me feel so good that now that I'm sober, I spent the extra $30 that I could have spent on my drugs
Right.
and let him do it, and he came out on first, and it made my heart so full.
Well, it's full circle. I think that's kind of what the conversation is meant to be. Most people think, of an addict as a long-term addict or a piece of shit, so to speak, and then, even when people come out of it, they still kind of look at them
Oh,
begrudgingly,
absolutely.
but
Absolutely.
what the fuck are you going to say to Ashley? What can you say that doesn't that her trials and tribulations hasn't made her, one of the best
Who I
moms I
am.
know.
Yeah.
Yes, and through, luckily again through sports, your kids were able to succeed, and I really wish the best for Caden. I think the kid's a fucking stud. He just needs to get a little taller.
He got the short end of the situation, not like his dad.
Right. Well, he might hit a growth spurt, and he might turn out to be 6'3" too. So
Right.
you never know. But like, I do look forward to going watch him playing some football soon. So
Oh yeah, and it's coming up.
I know. Well, me and Zach will talk about you all the time. He's like, man, that girl's got her hands full.
I do.
He was like, little Chucky be over there fighting with me all the time, and she'd be like, get off of him,
all,
and whatnot.
all the time.
And Zach's
He's over
like,
there
I don't
wanting
care, dude. I don't care. We'd play.
no, he's over there wanting a bottle flip with him all the time.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
telling you, this
He
kid
did
is
say
a
bottom.
bottle flipping fool. Yes.
That's a
He
sport in and of
literally will
itself.
bottle flip. Yeah, bottle flip 22 bottle flips in a row. Like he's a monster at bottle flip. But every time he sees Zach, he wants to do it. So the very last tournament we seen, Zach moved, and I'm like, "See, you made a move because you just won't leave him alone, And like,
Well,
good God,
I love you, and I'm so glad that you're, who you are now, and the kids are super grateful to be able to, get to the sporting events and being as in sports as they are, mainly, because of our family and stuff. But, I'm glad that the addiction kind of really, I don't know,
and
helped it.
if it wasn't for that, I definitely wouldn't be here for now. For that, that's for sure.
Well, good. Well, I appreciate it, Ashley. I will. Give you a call here in a little bit, and then
All right.
we'll go from there. So, everybody,
All right.
say bye to Ashley. Give her a round of applause. Woo! Yeah.
All right.
All right. I'll talk
Love
to you later. Love you.
Bye.
Deuces.
All right, bye.
And we're back. What's up? Did you like the conversations that we had with a felon and an addict about sports? I know it was kind of a hard reach, but we had some good conversations, and it opened up some personalities where I think the stereotypes that we have or that we just had are kind of, one of the really ones that are stereotyped as, not what they actually seem. And I hope that opened up a little piece in your brain that like makes you realize that these people are legitimately just cool fucking people, man. They're just regular people who had gone through some shit better in their lives, and the last thing they need is motherfuckers looking at them like they're different. That's the shit that kind of bothers me about it, and this kind of the reason why I'm doing this podcast, is so that you don't look at an addict or a felon or any of my other stereotypes any different than you. Yeah, they got different views, but they have a lot more in common than you think. And, seeing how sports affects, both a dad and who was a felon and a mom who was an addict, it kind of makes you have a little bit of empathy for why they're fighting so hard to be better, especially as a dad or a mom who's coming out of a conviction or coming out of an addiction, and they're trying extra hard to be there. But the one thing that I've, said in both conversations is it doesn't really matter. Like, if you meet me now and you didn't know anything about my past, but you like who I am, it really shouldn't change you liking me. You like me because of what I went through. If I continue to be untrustworthy or illogical on topics or whatever it may be, then I can understand why you wouldn't want to, be my friend or talk to me or whatever. But, you know, through thick and thin, these two guys have fought to get where they're at. And you can see it through, like with Adam, his son playing baseball, seeing how, people bet in the pen and shit, and it's like it's a new way to because those are things that I've never experienced. So here coming from somebody, it's that I know is brave on his end, but like it gives me more knowledge as to what he went through and what he saw. There was sports in the pen. There was, sports was prevalent. Even being locked up, sports was everywhere. And then when he got out, he got into cornhole and watches his son. And it was a great conversation to see how me as a sports fan, how a felon sees sports. And so then with Ashley, our addict, I'm very, very close to her. Obviously, she's my sister, but like close to her story and seeing how, sports has affected her life. I think it actually saved her life too by being able to not only being a good mom, but, putting her passion of being a good mom to the use of Caden to get him to wrestling things to help with Bentley and all of his interests. And, sports was a big part of our lives growing up. It was everywhere on TV. We went to softball games. We did all these things, and it was very prevalent. And even before the addiction hit her, her kids were in sports. I got a picture of all three of the nephews and my son, all three of the nephews and my son, at their very first T-ball game. And so seeing it affect her personally and for me as well, it's very hard to not give empathy for her for the shit that she's gone through and who she is now. Like, I'll defend her to the day I die. There's like I could not imagine her ever going back to that, or B, not continuing to be the mom that she is. And because of the shit that she went through and the mom that she is, she's going to open up opportunities for her sons through the avenues that she probably wouldn't have been able to do had she, still been strung out, or maybe she never had an addiction. Maybe she wouldn't have became that mom. And so, like, those are the things that I like to hear from these stereotypes, because these are the stories that happens to pretty much anybody through any type of struggle. And so, you know, through struggle, you'll become a stronger person. And both of these people are by far stronger than, they were before they told their story, before their story happened. Because, it's hard to, for one, just being brave enough to be and say, hey, I'm a felon, or hey, I'm an addict, or was an addict, or was a felon. And so, you know, we really need to give these guys a round of applause. I know how cheesy that is, but like, you need to look at everybody with the sense that, everybody's got fucking problems. Everybody's been somewhere. But the past that they have should not change your outlook on who they are. Now, if somebody murdered somebody or did something even worse, or, whatever, like, I can see why, obviously, that you probably wouldn't want to be their friend. But, for somebody who's gone through some thick shit and to come out on the other end and be a good person to people, you know, you should commend that. You shouldn't that deter you from looking at felons or addicts or any stereotype any different than you, because they have more in common than you think. And so with that, again, I hope you guys learned some things. I hope you understand where sports comes from and why I love sports, and how it affected these guys' lives. Great conversations. This is the type of shit that I love to do. This is why I'm doing it, and I was very excited to finally get Ashley on. Unfortunately, we're about a week behind. Life hit us. Ashley's working all the time, and I really wanted to make sure she was, in the setting of, really being a mom. All four of her kids are up, and they're all being quiet for us to have this podcast. So, you know, thanks, kids, for not embarrassing mom on the stereotypical bullshit podcast. But I think it would have been hilarious either way. But so again, thank them. What we got to do now is we are going to spin to see who we're going to talk about next week. Again, we're a week behind, but hell, life happens and we'll get there. So who are we going to talk to next week about some bullshit? Which stereotypes are we talking to? All right, what we got? Nope, we already had an agnostic, so we gotta redo it. I'd like to get at least one of everything before I double up something. You know what I mean? So hopefully we'll get somebody that we've already had again. Why does it keep going there? All right, cool. We gotta find a soldier. We gotta find somebody who served and kind of see what kind of bullshit we can drum up with these guys or ladies. Whichever one I find. So we will be talking to a soldier, and we will be talking to, let's see, the wheel of stereotypes. Oh, we're going to talk to a farmer. That's what's up. What do you guys think about that? Like, for real, what do you guys think about that? It's pretty cool. I've never really talked to a farmer about anything outside of farming. So let's see what a farmer. What is your stereotypical? When I say farmer, what do you think? Like hillbilly, big, like yeehaw. Is that what like we're hard worker, hard hands. What's that stereotype in your head? And then a soldier. What does that come to your head? How as soon as I say soldier, young, old, veteran, worn, proud. There's a lot there. There's a lot there. What are we going to talk about? I'm not really for sure, but I do have to spin it one more time just in case I cannot get a farmer or a soldier. I don't think that's going to be an issue, but I always like to have a stereotype on the back end just in case I can't get any of these guys to hop on with me. So, sometimes it's hard to talk about certain things, and sometimes it's easy. So I will roll one more time. We'll spin this bitch one more time. And we'll see, just in case this is our back burner. Hopefully we won't have to talk to these guys, because I'd love to talk to a farmer and a soldier. So, a lesbian. We'll talk to a lesbian if we don't get a farmer or a soldier. So, that's next week. We are going to talk some bullshit to a soldier, or we're going to talk to a farmer. I'm not really for sure yet. Obviously, we don't know what we're going to talk about, but I can't wait for it to happen. I got a couple people in mind, and with the topics that we still have left, man, there's going to be some good conversations there. Like, let's see. Let's open up. What else do we have left? Let's see. So, we got all kinds. We can do fashion. That would be a good one with these guys, wouldn't it? Talk to a farmer and a soldier about the fashion. That would be dope. I dig that conversation. Pets would be a good one. Books, education. There's some good shit. There's some good shit left. Social media, that'd be a good one. Influences. That'd be personal values. Money, man. We got some good topics left, and we got some good people that we're going to have some bullshit conversation with. I can't wait. So again, we're going to talk to a soldier and a farmer stereotype with a lesbian on the back end just in case. And then we are going to talk some bullshit on next week's episode of the Stereotypical Bullshit Podcast. Okay? So until next time, I'm Super Quig. These are my sponsors. Hit them up. High five me. Hit the like. Hit the follow. Hit the subscribe. Hit share. Let's get to some more stereotypes, and let's have some dope ass conversations about nothing. Well, until next time, folks. So long, stereotypes. Deuces.